All right, everyone, and welcome to another session of the Fall of Illidion, episode 28. Last week, our heroes were journeying north to Calmer's Ferry. Along the road, they had just been recovering after Gerard had a mysterious dream overnight. As they left their camp, walking along the road, they were ambushed by a set of orcs after meeting a mysterious traveler, a messenger from Emberfall that was riding at breakneck speed south to Darrendur with a message for the king. The ambush for the orcs was fierce, and the combat raged, before eventually our heroes emerged victorious. Looting the corpses of the orcs, they tried to ascertain what they were doing here, but were unable to determine why they were there. As they continued along, they journeyed throughout the night, eventually making camp in the morning, taking a short rest before they proceeded north to Calmer's Ferry. This time, once again, Gerard had another dream. This one, a repeat of the previous one. Him walking through the shadows of Rancor, the smoke filling the sky, lava spewing into the air as he saw the black tower looming over the plain to his east. As he went over to check out the tower, once again, emanating from within the walls, he heard the screams of Gregor, his mentor, emanating from within. Rushing inside, he went to find Gregor before once again waking up. This time, however, while in his dream, he threw a dagger into the lava. When he woke up, that same dagger was burning at his waist. This time when he woke up, most of the group was awake to see it, and to see the heat quickly leaving his dagger, as Vythe saw the corruption on his body. They had a long conversation about the ramifications of this, what this might mean. Kilroy came to the realization that this could mean that this was real, that he's really connected to Gerard and seeing visions from where he's at. It could be a facsimile, someone from the depths of the pit sending him false images to his brain. Or it could simply be a nightmare. There is a multitude of explanations for what it could be. With that in mind, they decided to promptly, upon their return to Emberfall, present themselves to both the Path of Dusk, Togrick's organization, and the Oathsworn, Gerard's organization, to see what could be figured out. With that, they proceeded onward to Calmer's Ferry, the small dwarfen outpost along the river. As they reached the bank of the Emberflow and they walked within town, they were quickly set upon as somebody quickly stole Aleister's pouch. They chased the thief into an alleyway where they were set upon by bandits who demanded that they fork over their gold or face a fight. They fought through the bandits, Gerard smiting one of them, leaving nothing but his smoking shoes beneath him, before the rest of the bandits fled when they offered them their lives. Aleister quickly propped up Togrick, promoting him as the Prince of Darrendur, quickly exclaiming his name throughout the city as people flocked around, a few, and began to pester them with questions. Aggravated, Togrick looked over at Aleister before they quickly shunted onward to the docks as Torvin and Vythe had returned, telling them that they had procured passage along the Emberflow, first stopping at Farrock and then onward towards Emberfall. The maps, if you want to follow along with where they are, links are down below. Character sheets are not up yet. For the Wednesday game they are, but they will be up by next week. As they proceeded to the docks, they quickly secured their cabins and went below. But not before Kilroy decided to play a prank on Aleister. Waiting until he fell asleep, he secured the assistance of the crew and some of his companions, going down below and casting a sleep spell on Aleister so that way he wouldn't wake up, bringing him up to the mast and tying him to the prow at the front of the boat. And that is where we left our heroes, as we're going to go ahead and bring them in. Alright, guys, so we've just finished our introductions. As the last thing we left off with is you all tying Aleister to the prow of the ship with the first mate, Gorson's assistance. He's under the effect of Kilroy's sleep spell, having not yet awakened as he lays there limp against the prow. The captain has been sent below decks as Gorson secured the first level of the pier with the crew, as all of them kind of laugh hysterically at your antics. The ship sails further down the Emberflow as Calmer's Ferry recedes behind you.
I wish one of us were artists. I'd love to see the look on his face the moment he wakes up.
Yeah, me too, actually.
It shouldn't be long. I mean, how long does that spell last? Gorson says.
It depends on how strong-minded they are.
We're gonna be here all year.
At this point, they've been moving you a little bit. Aleister, give me another will save.
Alright.
They've been moving you. They've been jostling you around. They tied you to a prow. We'll give you another one before the duration ends.
Momento, por favor. You said
That's fine.
will.
Yes.
And I'm at disadvantage, correct?
You don't have to take disadvantage this time.
Oh,
wait.
no.
You have exhaustion. Yes, you have exhaustion. You have disadvantage, my son.
I do not wake up.
On the critical failures, Aleister's kind of going along. His mouth kind of gently rocks open as you guys see a fly. A big old bug just flies into his mouth. He doesn't even flinch.
Oh, he's out.
I was
He's gonna be
mostly
like
kidding
that till
about
we
the
get-
year thing.
He's
But-
out. He'll be like that till we get to Emberfall.
A few days? Your magic is that powerful?
No, not really.
He's that dumb. I turn and lean against the rail here.
As the door opens behind you to the lower decks and the captain strides forward. What's the meaning of this? What is everybody doing on my deck?
I think somebody fell asleep strapped to the bow over there.
Roll me deception.
Not great, probably. Oh!
Alright, and she kind of looks at you for a moment. He fell asleep there, And how long will he be sleeping there?
Probably till we get to Emberfall. I don't imagine he'll wake up anytime soon.
Emberfall is 4 days away. How about a few hours?
That works.
That works. Besides, if he doesn't wake up after too long, we could always just pour a little water on him. That always does the trick.
As you guys kind of, the boat leans forward as water splashes up on him and he still doesn't wake up.
We did make sure he was breathing, right?
I can double check. Medicine check.
Roll a medicine check. He is indeed breathing as you kind of walk closer to the prow and lean in, feeling him. You can see his chest moving. He is asleep. He is not dead, though he is at this point soaked from the spray of the river.
Oh yeah, he's fine.
I could try something, actually. As I stand near the prow where he's tied up. You know, I heard someone say Aleister's not the strongest man in the world.
Aleister, give me a will save with advantage.
Is that how it works? Or are you just thinking at this point in time?
I'm giving you advantage on this one roll because he said you're not the strongest man in the world.
Still gonna fail.
All right. Instantly, you pop awake as you realize your hands are tied behind your back, along with your legs around this prow. As the spray from the river is just smashing you in the face as the boat leans forward as it goes down.
So, we got to look into how I, as Aleister, would view the situation. I believe that the first thing that comes up is somebody telling me I'm not the strongest person. So I then shall react to that, and then I shall react to the whole water situation that's going on in here.
You don't even realize when you first open your eyes that you're getting wet. You just heard you're not the strongest man in the world.
What do you mean I'm not? Do you know who I am? I am not.
Hey, look.
He said it as I point to the.
Ranting on and on and on, and then like I just look down and I mean, the strongest man is just like, which is quiet. And it's like, I might be the strongest man, but it's a lot of water, and we're just out in the middle of nowhere right now. So how do I get out here?
Oh, here comes the wave, Aleister. Hold your breath.
As the boat pitches down, as you get hit with a wave of water coming up from the river at you.
What is not funny? I'm driving. I just spilled water all over myself.
Give me a will save as you've established that you're terrified of water.
God. To be fair, this canon happened when I was not here, and that still infuriates me to this day.
Oh, Jesus. You are...
One with advantage as well?
No. You are panicked at this point. You are panicking. Like hyperventilating, screaming, full-on terror.
If we leave him out there too much longer, he's probably going to try to kill one of us when he gets back on board.
I clap one hand on your back. The captain said we had a few hours. Let's get some sleep.
Works for me, as I turn around and head back to the room I'm sharing with Vythe at the moment.
Obviously, I can't see him since I'm tied to a boat just looking out to the water. So I probably can't even hear him.
You can hear them.
Bro, have you ever been out to sea?
Yep,
Right on
you
the
can
water
hear them.
as it's moving?
They're standing right behind you when they turned around.
I think you know how the boat works, but
Yes, typically the water's moving when you're on a boat, Aleister. Have fun! And I wave over my shoulder and head down below.
don't
I'm
see
right
me
behind you.
because I am faced the wrong way. Looking at what is the fear of God, of water.
I'll stay up there and stand by Aleister.
Are you untying him?
No, I can't. What could I do? I mean, and I explained that to Aleister. I'm like, Aleister, the most I can do is cut you down. I'm not sure I could pull you back up in the boat by myself.
Who's part of this? Because it's not funny. Gerard, get me out of here right now.
I'm just staying to make sure you're safe.
Who
As
did this,
Gorson
Gerard?
comes over, do you want me to help you let the lad down? As you look at him, his head's kind of down, as his face is red, as you realize that he like got laid into by the captain while you guys were sitting over here talking to
I'm pretty sure if we don't do it soon, he's gonna kill the gnome.
As he pulls out a knife, I'll cut him loose. You grab him as he falls.
Or don't.
Straight check.
Below.
Yep. So he goes 3, 2, 1. As he uncuts at the same time both your hands and legs, as you begin, for just a moment, you're in free fall, falling directly down to the river, as quickly Gerard leans over and grabs your legs as your head smashes into the front of the boat.
Concussions. Great time.
As you'll take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm dead.
Are you
I have
unconscious
died.
again?
I don't think so, but I should probably double check, actually. Oh, no, I'm at full health.
Okay.
Well,
I was about to say, I thought you guys healed.
yeah. It was a joke, but honestly, at this point in time, the joke might have actually been real.
As I heave Aleister back up onto the boat.
Athletics check. It's only fantastically.
You just give me another strength check to pull him back up.
All right.
All right. As with that 13, you pull him slowly as Gorson comes over and assists you. As eventually, Aleister, you just thud on the boat, spitting up water. Your fur and clothes are completely drenched. At least they had the courtesy to not bring your weapons. As you're kind of sitting there, none of your weapons fell off.
Yes, I thank them for the courtesy of that. I appreciate them so much. As I cough and whatnot, I look at Gorson. Like, Gorson, you obviously had something to do with this. Who else happened to be doing this with you? Please and thank you before I retire to my own room at this time.
He kind of looks at you for a moment. Give me a persuasion.
I currently have my bear sitting up against the door.
Persuasion, you say.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning nonchalantly against my door down below.
He looks at you for a moment. All of your companions.
Oh,
Though the gnome was the ringleader.
And then-
but all of them, you say.
And at that point, I look at Aleister and I say,
Guilty conscience.
no, I didn't help them, and you know who keeps doing this, and they're going to continue to pick on you until you learn how to work as a team. That's why I didn't stop them.
Just ratted you out as I storm away. Now I'm going to shut out. Wait, who was I sleeping with again?
The cat
Yeah,
behind the
yeah.
alley? Wait? No. I don't think you had a room with anyone but Gerard, right?
Gerard
No.
is.
I room with Kilroy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was the only one who got his own room.
Yeah.
Well,
No, you're staying with Torvin. You're staying with Torvin.
Torvin's getting kicked out of his room.
Good luck.
So I'm gonna walk to my room, obviously.
So you walk downstairs, your feet, because you had taken off your boots to sleep, just wet, smacking the deck and the floor as you kind of truck along, as the crew's kind of sitting there giggling a bit, hiding in the shadows of the mess as you walk through, until you finally make it down to your room. As your footsteps echo down the hall, you hear the click of locking doors as you walk past your companions to your room, the door ajar, Torvin's still sleeping in the bed opposite yours, snoring away.
Kilroy, who were you hiding in the same room as Cogric?
No. I'm
You
chilling
wouldn't
with
know,
Life.
would you? You would know, would you?
It depends. Since I heard clicking of locked doors, yes, I would. But
Doors is
Apparently.
plural.
Yeah, plural. Togric's hiding in his room too.
fair enough. Well, Torvin's sleeping, and it looks like since he was sleeping, he had nothing to do with this. Probably, I'm not 100% sure.
I mean,
But I'm gonna make a lot of noise. I'm definitely gonna make a lot of noise. Let me tell you. I'm just gonna go in there and then slam the door shut, and then bar the door.
When you slam the door, Torvin kind of rolls over for a moment, his eyes blearily half open. He goes, "Why are you so loud? And why are you stripping?"
I think you should ask your nephew that exact same question, because I do not know. I fell asleep.
Did they throw you in the river?
No, they strapped me to the side of the boat.
That's even better.
Yeah, it was real great.
Oh, that sucks. As he rolls over and goes back to sleep.
I can't stand towards
how does
it
that
all.
man not cut himself on his sword arm?
Actually, that is a great question.
That's real fast. Hey, wait,
So
is
actually,
his arm
for the
detached?
first
'Cause you
time-
can steal it.
You're actually paying attention now, Aleister, for the first time as this thought crosses your mind. As you look over, you realize his sword arm is detached and sitting on the ground next to his bed.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm furious. Thinking.
Don't work too hard.
Furious. I don't think I would do that. So it's smart enough to know. I don't know what Torben can actually do. I will ignore it, but I will save that thought for later. That is great information.
Well, so are you wondering what Torvin can do? Do you have any knowledge? Do you have knowledge history?
Dude, no.
Well, then you have no idea beyond what you've noticed of him.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
You've
bro,
seen him. He acquitted himself very well in the fight in Emberfall when he was leading troops against
exactly, but we
the
never
demons.
fought together, so it's like I don't really care at that point in time.
You only know him by his reputation as a famed
Which
warrior.
is very strong reputation. It's like, yeah, dog, I don't really know.
Fair enough.
I don't think Torben actually did anything. Not 100% sure, because the guy said you're companions. So I'm not 100% sure. So I'm probably just gonna slosh around, try to dry up, and then get right back in bed.
All right. As you kind of standing there, taking off your clothes, trying to drip dry, spraying your fur around, you gotta shake your whole body like a cat would coming out of after getting wet. You eventually, after maybe about another hour, get yourself dry enough that you feel like you can lay down and go to sleep.
Oh joy!
As the rest of you, after some time, hearing the muttering and sometimes curses coming from Aleister's room, you realize he's not coming for you. At least not today.
Arguably makes it worse. So I'll settle in for some time and pass out.
I'm not falling asleep until Gerard comes in this room.
Gerard, at this point, as he walks down below, maybe after a few minutes, you're kind of standing here as the crew continues to get back to work, going about the business of operating the ship. The sun is at its high point of the day, but obviously you guys are on a weird sleeping schedule from being underneath the ground. What are you doing?
I'm definitely catching up on all the sleep we missed, so.
Gerard?
Somebody redeemed Hello Kitty.
Ah, that's why he went to go get Colt. Today you guys get to see James Zero's cat, Colt.
This is Colt. Pretty awesome. But so Kilroy's waiting on me to go downstairs, so I'm gonna go downstairs to the room, and I'm going to just take off my armor, and I think I'm gonna sleep above.
So when you go up to the door and you actually jiggle the handle, you realize it's locked.
I give it a knock.
Who is it?
I sleep here.
Okay, I unlock the door. I have the bear step back.
All right, as this door kind of opens, you see Kilroy's eyes peeking through just the crack that he's opened as the bear begins to lumber away. As he sees you, he opens the door a bit more. As you see, the bear was sitting there and they had thrown stuff up against the door next to the bear.
He's already gone to bed.
Alright, good. I don't need anything distracting me while I'm watching over you tonight.
Well, we cut him down and he was pretty upset. And I told him that he knew exactly who it was. And you guys are going to keep picking on him until he learns how to work as a team. But I think I'm going to sleep above deck tonight. I could probably use the fresh air. You might want to rebar the room after I leave.
I have to watch you to know what's going on with you when you're sleeping.
He just has to watch you sleep, man.
Yeah, if you go up there, I'll go up there with you. I gotta watch you.
Alright, I'll sleep down here for the night. I just thought some fresh air would do me good.
I mean, you can go up there. I will follow you.
Nah, that's alright. Aleister could be up in the middle of the night and decide that now's the point that he wants to cash in on that grudge.
Alright, so I re-blockade the door, have the bear sit up against the door again.
Alright, as Bella takes her place against the wall.
I sit down on the floor next to Gerard's bed.
Alright. As Gerard, you lay down Aleister, and finally Togric lays down, as even Vythe is asleep, as slowly you guys all manage to fade off into dreamland. Gerard, as you lay down to sleep, Kilroy intensely watching you, as it takes some time, a bit uncomfortable by being stared at while you try to sleep. But eventually you do slide off into dreamland. As once again you're filled with the sensation of falling, plummeting.
Probably feels like at home at this point. I expected.
It looks like we lost his signal here for a second. So we're going to go ahead and take just a second here to get this ironed out, guys. Don't go anywhere. I believe there's still a first person in chat will get a free gifted sub today, so go ahead and do that, and we will be right back with you, okay?
Oh, 2 people left.
Sorry about that technical difficulty, guys. We're back.
Sorry about that. For some reason, it booted me out of all of our audio systems and then made me update the software. But we are back with Gerard. As Gerard, you feel yourself falling once again, wrapped around these shadows, almost at this point, at first disturbing like a blanket, as you begin to feel at home, falling into the deep of sleep, plummeting down into the depths of your mind. You once again, purple and reds begin to filter around you as quickly, it's almost as if you're drowning, surrounded by water, before finally you pull yourself up, once again surrounded by the abyss, as you stand in the pits of Rancor. Pillars of lava striking through the air, jagged black rocks surrounding your vision as the sky is choked with smoke and ash, red lightning blasting through the sky as you see the plains of the pit to your left, and then the spiraling black stone tower to your right, once again on the other side of the river of lava and the all too familiar bridge.
Well, I know at this point, whenever I walk into that tower, take the spiral staircase up and open the door, this dream ends, and I've been rushing through it. What do I see past the points where I haven't been, on each side of the bridge across the chasm?
So, as you look to your left, actually, go ahead and give me a perception check. Let's go ahead and do it like that.
I'm really trying to look for things that, if I weren't here and I had to get back here, What kind of landmarks do I see nearby? Anything that really juts out as something
you
important?
Stare around across the plain, taking a closer look at your surroundings, trying to ascertain your location and look for landmarks. As you look across the plain, way off in the distance, an unfathomable distance across, as the plain seems to be endless and flat, allowing a very clear far line of sight. You see walls almost off in the distance, and maybe a hint of smoke billowing from behind them. As you look around, you realize you're standing at the top of a black mountain range, or the foothills of one, I should say. The path to your left winding down, dropping down a steep cliff towards the plain to your west. You realize that this small pit, this pool that you were crawling out of, in the center has an obelisk that you hadn't noticed, never having looked back at the pool before. This stone obelisk lined with runes that glow a violet color. The runes indecipherable to you, but you can feel the corruption emanating from them. The pool is surrounded by cliffs, almost cut into the mountainside in this area, almost as if it's a small alcove put into the side of the mountain. As you look towards the tower, you realize, finally looking at it, that this tower is also kind of cut into the side of the mountain. And you see from its very pinnacle, there's a hallway almost, or a corridor cut into the side of the mountain that leads from the tower further into the cliffside.
All right. So, as I'm knowing that Kilroy is currently watching me in my sleeping state, and I can't read these runes myself, but I know that what I do inside of this realm affects me in the other realm. I begin to take my dagger out of my side pouch again and begin to carve the symbols along my arm one by one so that the blood shows up on the other side.
So, flashing back to the real Kilroy, hours have passed as you're just kind of sitting here, almost falling asleep, just in and out of consciousness, that semi-awake state where you're kind of having those micro sleeps, trying to hold back the drowsiness. As you kind of stare at him, and all of a sudden there's a flare. As you've been trying to maintain your detection spells on him this entire time, there's a flare of corruption coming from him. Once again, this time, the likes of which you've never seen before. Even in all of your studies, even back at Blacklight, you've never seen a flare of corruption like this before. Almost immense. Once again, weaving through is this odd arcane signature that just seems familiar, but you just can't quite place. Weaving through the corruption, it almost seems to wrap itself like a cocoon around Gerard. As you realized before, the corruption wasn't coming from him, but was surrounding him, as it's sort of bathing his body, swirling around his skull in particular. As you look at him, you realize on his arm, as he's taken off his armor to sleep, blood begins to drip from his forearm, where there are no cuts, as runes begin to appear in blood on his arm. While you don't know this language, you instantly recognize it as infernal, the language of shadow.
I take out a piece of parchment and I begin copying the runes that he's putting on his, or that's appearing on his arms.
Okay, as you're just quickly just writing down these runes as quickly as you can, we're going to come back to Gerard, where it takes you about 10 minutes of just going through your right arm and then your left, and then pulling down your armor as much as you can to cut into your chest before you finally notate all of the runes that line this obelisk.
As I begin to test more things, I try to use my magic and cure my wounds here in Rancor.
Okay. So, as you go, you're bleeding from all over. As your blood drops to the ground, it sizzles with the heat of the air. And it just evaporates as soon as it hits the ground. You try to cast a spell. I need a charisma check from you.
All right.
As you go to touch your hand to the wounds, channeling the divine light of Zenides through, your hand flashes for a moment with light before it subsides, unable to break through the barrier.
Then I take a remembrance of the corridor, the hallway that you'd spoke of beyond the obelisk, as I begin to move.
So the corridor was beyond the tower. So the very top of the tower connects into the cliffside there as well, with a corridor that seems to go further into the mountain.
I take note of that, as I know I'm losing a lot of blood currently, and I don't know how me falling here would affect me in the real world as I go back to the end to awake from my sleep.
All right. As you go, once again, running across the long stone bridge, opening the door to the tower, you run up, hearing the walls echoing with Gregor's screams, "Help! Help, please!" As you reach the very top and open them for just a moment this time, you see him hanging from the ceiling by his hooks going through his shoulders, chains, manacles around his hands as he's chained from the ceiling, covered in blood, the black mark of the shadow strewn across his chin as you awaken.
I sit up.
At this point, Gerard sits forward, looks at you, Kilroy, covered in sweat. He's been wrapped in this cocoon of shadow for hours, as at this point it's been 7 hours since he finally drifted off to sleep, as you've just been writing down these runes and notating the corruption surrounding his body.
I quickly just kind of I'm looking over him to see if he himself has lost any blood, if he looks faint or anything.
So Gerard, Kilroy comes and kind of checks you over as you look at him. He looks pale like he did before, and he does look weaker than yesterday, but you're not necessarily sure if it's from the stress or from blood loss. But he does look pale and frail as he's lightly shaking this time.
Well, did you do this to yourself? As I begin to hold up the runes.
So you did get the message.
I was hoping that this was a message and not doing something to you.
No, I carved these in me on the other side. There was an obelisk lined with runes that I couldn't decipher, and I was hoping since you were watching on the other side that you'd be able to catch them and jot them down.
As far as I can tell, I recommend you probably shouldn't do that again.
Well, it seems that I always awaken in the same exact spot, and I feel like the obelisk is probably responsible for that. Whatever we could decode from these runes would maybe give us some indication on why I keep going back.
Something is surrounding you when you're sleeping.
Well, I mean, I go to the plane of shadows, so I'm not shocked.
It kind of just appeared out of nowhere.
I mean, this is the only lead we have on Gregor. Unfortunately, There's going to be some negative side effects, but I'm willing to deal with that, as long as we can find out more.
Well, I'm behind you, whatever we decide.
You just have to take it segments at a time. It's weird that I almost look forward to the next time I sleep. And I begin to explain the landscape to Kilroy as I tell him about the different landmarks that I had seen, beginning with the tower, the obelisk, and the corridor that's behind the tower. The Black Mountain Range, the chasm of lava, the stone bridge.
We don't need to take any detours. We need to get you straight to Emberfall because there's nothing I can do to help.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any direct way to get to Rancor. Obviously, we'll have to find something. Hopefully, you find something in the books that you love so much.
Hopefully, if I can find any books that help.
All right. As the day passes, as all of you from your exhaustion sleep much longer than you intended, awaking on the morning of the 13th of Leaffall, having slept for a full 15 hours, exhausted from your journey. As you awaken with the morning, Gerard and Kilroy, you guys having discussed throughout the early morning hours after Gerard woke up, you guys hear movement from the other rooms as Aleister and Togric and the rest of your companions begin to awaken.
Alright, now it's my turn to go to sleep. And I go to sleep.
I don't know if I could go back to sleep if I wanted to.
I wake up stiff as a board.
As you wake out on these really hard wooden beds, you look over and Vythe is just kind of sitting there up on his bed reading a book.
Best sleep of my life. You're really missing out.
I slept for a bit, but no use in leaving the room. Plus, I've had enough sunshine on this journey.
Fair enough. Wouldn't want to ruin your perfect skin. Then stand up and stretch. I'm gonna go eat something. Enjoy your book.
Is Vythe and Togric's room right next to mine and Kilroy's?
Yes. So how it works is you guys have the one side, and so it is you and Kilroy, and then it is Togric and Vythe, and then it is Aleister and Torvin.
Vythe,
Okay.
you know they... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Vythe, you know they don't get together at the end of that book, right? As I shut the door behind me.
Why did you spoil it for me? As, like, there's just this small blast as this line of shadow energy barely misses your skull as it pierces through your door, through the other door, and out the side of the ship.
Temper, temper! As I move to pick up some rations.
As you go to open your doors, there's this kind of blast of energy that just, this ray pierces through the boat. Aleister, you hear this as you're just waking up in your room.
I do not care. I am ignoring
Do I also hear it?
them.
You do hear it as well. As Torvin looks at you, Aleister, and kind of says, "Are you coming to breakfast?"
No.
Your loss. I'm not bringing you back any chow. As he goes to open the door.
And time seems to slow down as I'm in the hallway and I see Aleister's room door opening. Eyes go a little bit wide and I immediately
As you look through, you see Torvin opening the door and Aleister just sitting on his bed. As just for a moment, you and Aleister make eye contact.
Morning. Sleep okay?
See, I am not responding. Like, not responding. No words come out of my mouth. I ignore it. You can see the fire in my eyes.
Torvin, you hear that?
No.
Exactly! As I shut the door to Aleister's room here and go eat something.
As you kind of walk off, Torvin chuckles. I wonder if they had good ale on this craft.
I doubt it.
Shit.
Did Kilroy leave those papers out of the runes that he marked down?
Yeah, I
I
did.
don't know. Did you, Kilroy?
I didn't put them in my bag. I left them in the room with us.
All right, well, since I hear of all of that going down and now Vythe is negative some reading material, maybe I'll go give him some. As I walk into the next room, papers in hand.
Okay. So as you open your door, you see out of the corner of your eye Togric and Torvin heading out of the end of the hallway towards the mess. As you walk over to
Click.
Togric's slightly ajar room, you open the door and you see Vythe just sitting with his book against the corner, on top of his blankets, his bed made perfectly as he's just flipping through reading.
And I
The
address him.
second that door closes, my bear assumes position.
Okay.
Wait, what's the position?
Against the
Phrasing.
door. All right. And so you walk in and you see him sitting there.
Fight?
Yes. Sorry. I was preoccupied. Gerard? What can I do
Yeah.
for you?
I heard the ending of your book was just spoiled.
It was, but it doesn't ruin the journey, I guess.
I think I have some more reading material for you here. I
What
visited
did you have?
Rancor again last night, and I don't know anybody that would speak Infernal.
I think our Grand Master might. Though there's very few that speak the language. The only way that... There's the bastardized, mortal version of the language that's spoken on Eridar, Fel. But the only way one can truly speak Infernal is by getting gifted that knowledge by a demon.
Well,
It's an encounter I've strived to avoid.
it took a little more time yet as I was in the dream state in Rancor, and every time I show up is near a black obelisk lined with runes, and we found a way to mark the runes down, so hopefully we can get back. Your Grandmaster can give us a hand.
Okay. I mean, I can look through it for a bit if you want me to. I mean, I never studied Fel. I was not... The scholarly aptitudes were never my strong suit. I was never much of a book reader, but I'll give it a go until we get back.
I would really appreciate it.
All right, as he takes the paper from you and sets his book down for a moment before pulling out a clipboard and a quill and some ink, opening up a fresh journal next to it as he sits down to study.
I'll stay there with him. As he's studying it, I'll recopy down some of the runes so I have a copy of it so that he can look over it as long as he'd like.
All right, so you're sitting here helping him study the runes, kind of looking at them with him. Am I understanding you correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Give me a will save. All right. All right. As you sit there for most of the morning studying with Vythe, as I'm going to hop over to Togric. Actually, I'll hop over to Aleister. So, Aleister, you hear your Gerard shuffle into Togric's room as you can't make out what they're saying, but you hear hushed undertones as he's speaking with Vythe. The rest of your companions are gone. I mean, Togric and Torvin anyways. You can faintly make out Kilroy and his bear, Bella, snoring from the other room. What are you doing?
This is a fantastic question. I'm glad you bring it up. I am not going above deck. Wait, where's the chow hall at?
The chow hall is on the upper deck. So it's not the top deck, but I would say the first deck below decks.
Okay. Yeah, I'm absolutely doing nothing. How long is this boat ride?
You know that the entire thing from Calmer's Ferry to Emberfall takes about 4 days with a stop off in Farrock.
Okay, I might just make them walk the rest of the way once we get off of Farrock.
How are you gonna swing that?
I'm just gonna start walking. This might actually happen like that because I'm planning on getting off this boat as soon as possible and off the water as soon as possible, and I'm plotting and I'm planning and I'm just stewing in my mind at the absolute fury that a cat man can have. And ignoring everybody, including Gerard, even though he's trying to be peacemaker, although he was ratted out by the first mates. Cat, so.
As Aleister sits in his room stewing for the afternoon, furious with his companions for tying him to the prow of the boat. As the rest of you, or I should say Togric and Torvin, make their way to the mess, as you walk in, there's a smell fills the air. You're not quite sure what it is, and you're not sure that it smells particularly appetizing, but it is a smell. And it hits you with full force, kind of cinnamon and a mixture of old bread.
Not the most appealing, but as I kind of shrug to Torvin, it'll do, I guess.
As you walk over, there's this really fat, tall goblin sitting behind the kitchen who just kind of moseys over to you with a little big ladle, just slops a bunch of oatmeal in a bowl, a few chunks floating in it that you're not quite sure what it is, and you probably don't want to ask. As he looks at you, meat or water?
Mead.
As he grabs a very old clay tankard and takes it over to the keg and taps it out, is this almost, you could definitely tell it's too clear to be straight mead, as it's definitely been watered down. As he, even as a dwarf, even from this distance, you can tell as he flips the tap back up and comes over to you. Next!
I take my stuff and go have a seat in one of the shifting tables here.
As you hear him say to Torvin, as he slops some oatmeal on there, water or mead? As you hear Torvin say, what's the difference? As the goblin just looks at him, as Torvin kind of chuckles for a moment before it slowly fades away, as the goblin doesn't laugh. As he hands him mead, and as Torvin comes over and grumbling to you, goblin, damn green skins, as he sits next to you and kind of suspiciously eyes his mead.
I wasn't going to say anything because I prefer not having spit in mine. As I kind of toast him and...
As he looks at you, as he clanks his glass with yours, might give it some flavor. As he throws it back.
Ugh. Tastes like a natural light, natty light.
As you sit there throughout the for a few moments, kind of eating your stew, it surprisingly doesn't taste awful. It's like it should be awful, but the cook put like way too many spices in there. There's like cinnamon and some sugar and all nutmeg and just way too much of everything to where it's just overspiced, but it, like, you can tell it's covering up for the whatever's in there.
I'd ask, but no. I finish it as quickly as I can and get ready to face the day.
So, what are we doing today? I hate boats. But I mean, what do we got? When do we think we'll hit Farrock? Maybe tonight?
Probably late tonight, early morning. I'd know a little bit more if I was out there, but fair enough. I don't love riverboats. Sea boats are a lot more fun.
I mean, yeah, there's more to do and there's more space to conserve everything on these riverboats for cargo.
Really, it's
Are you going to get off at Farrock?
If Aleister has anything to say about it, I'm sure. But it's faster to go finish this trip by boat. We have some things to take care of. Like you already know we have things to take care of look.
True. Hopefully he isn't so upset that he tries to make us walk. As much as I hate boats, that'll add another few days on the journey.
We tied him up once.
True. I didn't know the boy was that afraid of the water.
It's one of the only ways we have to rein him in. God forbid he ever conquers that.
Fair enough.
There's probably a
Well-
story there, but I just think Otello might have instilled that in him.
If I know anything, if I've heard anything about the old rat bastard, he probably used it as a punishment. He's a mean son of a bitch, but a good son of a bitch.
I never would have known, really. Just stories from old folks like you.
Fuck off!
Mm.
I'm only, 100 years older than you?
Only 100, he says.
Maybe 200? Just don't tell anyone.
Mm-hmm. That's more accurate, Uncle.
Next thing you know, I'm gonna hear your father whining at me. You need to settle down, find a wife.
You're gonna meet the next ex. This is Blades on.
They always want the inn. I'm not gonna give them the inn.
Yeah, you do a whole lot of managing the inn. Don't you always
Hey.
leave,
Hikaru, he's a good lad. He's a good lad. He does a good job managing the inn while I'm away. I don't know what I'd do without him.
Don't pretend you're not leaving it to him when you finally kick the bucket.
I'm not leaving it to you.
Well, of course not. I'd run that place into the ground. Drink all the ale
Like everything
myself.
else. Some cards?
Sure, I can lose a few coins, I guess.
As he breaks out his deck as you guys begin to shuffle, wasting the day away with your card game. Gerard and Kilroy, how long do you spend... Let's say Gerard, since you're with Vythe, actually, as Kilroy's sleeping. How long do you spend examining this with Vythe? Are you spending the whole day, part of the day? Are you doing anything
I'm just
else
waiting
on
for
the boat?
Kilroy to wake up.
Okay. So you'll examine it through midday when you finally hear a bang as Kilroy kind of slips and falls off the bed. As Kilroy, you awake, smashing into the deck of the ship as you realize Bella had kind of stretched out in her sleep and knocked you off the bed.
What the hell? Listen. We're in this together. Don't hurt me. As I kind of thunk her on the head with my wand. Get up. I'm up. Yeah, how's it feel?
And she kind of moves over, and this time completely laying on top of your bed, leaving the door open.
Alright, you can stay here. As I open the door. I'm kind of hungry anyway. You don't get any food now, and I close the door.
Scratching noises.
So you make your way up to the midship, where as you walk into the mess hall, it's completely empty, besides for Torvin and Togric sitting here playing a game of cards. There are piles of gold and silver roughly even between them, even though you can tell they've been sitting here for some time, as there are several empty tankards next to them.
God, you're such a cheat, Torvin. How can you have
You're
five
just mad because my
fives?
pile of silver keeps getting bigger!
How can you have 5 fives? There's 4 in a set.
Lucky draw!
Lucky draw. Let's spit on the floor.
I run it in. What did you expect? As he kind of pulls back the deck. Another hand?
Sure. As I palm 2 of my previous cards.
Alright, give me a sleight of hand.
Da-da.
Quick question. How is he shuffling the deck with one hand?
That's an excellent question. So, as you realize at this time, he no longer has his sword arm on, as he has like this hook arm. It's this long metal rod that turns onto a hook that he kind of uses in the semblance of an arm. You've never seen him with this one before, because most of the time he uses the sword.
Not fantastic on that side of hand.
Ah, but it is good enough to beat his crit fail on the perception as you just slide the 2 cards back. Kilroy, you want to get in this game?
Oh, no thank you. I see a card in your shoe.
Damn it!
This one's just about to end anyway, as I push my whole stack of gold in. My whole stack of coins.
I walk past and I giggle and I go get...
So as you walk over to the kitchen, as Torvin looks at him for a moment before pushing his stack in as well. You come back behind the bar, the whoever runs this mess long since gone for breakfast, and they don't serve a group lunch. As you come behind, you see this large vat of what you think is oatmeal, but it's got weird chunks of stuff flowing through it, and it's cold.
Do you guys eat this stuff?
One bowl. Any more and you'll be sick. Now come on,
Yeah.
flip the cards.
I'm not gonna eat that. I just grab a plate, I walk over to the table with Togric and Torvin, and I begin to kind of wiggle my fingers in the air as a magic dust comes up and creates food for me on my plate.
You could have done that the whole time? I stand up.
You never asked.
I hate you. And I lay
Are
down.
you telling me I've been eating jerky for days with you? For days, and you had real food.
Yeah?
Magic doesn't count when it's food. Bring that up, boy.
Oh, hey, neither does winning coins when you're cheating.
Speaking of
cheat.
winning coins, as I lay down my 5 cards.
That's bullshit. You cheated.
How? You're the one who runs the inn.
I don't know how, but you cheated.
Oh, it didn't stop you from taking my gold as I put my arm on the table and pull half. Could do double or nothing.
No, you've taken enough of my coin today. As he kind of stands up. Nothing else to do, so I guess I'm gonna go take a nap.
Suit yourself.
All right. You can add 2 dragons, 7 drakes, and 31 worms to your inventory.
I will happily do so. I was expecting to lose. Just cheat. I should have known. As I
Kilroy
slide
comes
a
over
couple
and
of drakes
sits
over to
beside
you. That's for not telling him I cheated.
Hey, I was just happy I could help out.
Yeah, so I slide you 2 drakes. And, can I have a plate of that as I gesture to your magic dust?
Yep, I wiggle my fingers. The dust creates a steak for him.
Oh, it's cooked perfectly. I,
Just-
start
Do you
chowing
mind not
down.
telling the rest of them?
You mind doing this for me every day?
Maybe not every day. It depends on how much, magical juice I got flowing.
That makes it sound worse than I was expecting. But this juice, as I hold up a piece of steak, this is good juice. Fine by me. I
Got a
won't tell
deal.
anyone. Although that might be a good bargaining chip against Aleister. He seems to be moping.
Yeah, if it ever comes down to it, I'll throw his favorite in front of his face.
What is his favorite?
Oh, we're gonna find out. Even if it kills us, we're gonna find out.
It might kill you. I'm pretty sure that that deckhand said you were the ringleader, which, while true, doesn't bode well for you.
Oh no, I'm dead.
Just bonk him with your tiny little hammer thing. It'll be fine.
You see how effective that is? Every time I bonk you, it just pisses you off.
Exactly. Maybe it has an opposite effect on idiots.
That might just make them more mad.
Guess you'll find out.
I don't wanna.
How did things go with Gerard last night? They cut another piece of my steak.
If I'm gonna be honest, not great. It's progressing faster and faster.
Then we're gonna have to speed this up. Definitely keeping going on the boat once we get to the rest stop. That's fine though. I don't mind the boat, although we might have to convince Aleister to stay.
Yeah, that's probably the hard part.
How is it getting worse?
So, I wasn't entirely sure at first last night. Whenever he started to get covered in runes, I was very skeptical of either waking him up or copying the runes on his body. So I copied the rune, and I didn't see them in the room this morning when I woke up. So I'm thinking Gerard took them.
And didn't
But-
say anything about it?
I went to bed. But he he informed me he was the one who wrote the runes on his own skin. And it looks like that's taking a huge toll on him. But other than what he's told me, there was a black mist surrounding not only him, but focusing on his skull.
Interesting. Has he taken a wound recently that we don't know about? Could be causing that. I doubt
Not
it,
that I
but-
saw last night.
Okay. Well, I'll check him over later just to be safe.
The only wound that might come to mind is his soul, but I don't think that would really do anything. After he lost his shield, his soul might have been shattered.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I'm no expert on anything close to that, so he'll figure it out, I'm sure, and we'll get him the help when we get back to Emberfall. Assuming there's not another apocalyptic crisis.
We need to get him there as quickly as possible.
Did I say that out loud? I totally jinxed that. As I knock on the table and, fake throw some salt over my shoulder.
As you guys are sitting up on the middle deck, talking to each other about the recent goings on, Gerard, knock at the door. As you look over and you see Torvin kind of peering in as you and Vythe have been poring over these runes for hours. If you guys stare at that piece of parchment for too long, you'll go blind.
I can't even read it to begin with.
And what are you doing? Go up and get some food. You'll pass out if you don't eat.
As I wave my bag of rations, my sack of rations over my shoulder that I've been eating on for the last half hour.
It's probably better than what they're serving anyway. Is there anything I can do for you?
I just got these copied. I need to take them up to Kilroy. I heard him walk up by.
Yeah, he's up in the mess with Togrick.
Pitter
Cheating
patter
me out
of
of my
tiny feet.
gold.
Cheating him out of his gold.
I should probably go up and see him. I know that they're probably worried, so I'll go up
I'm
and see
sure.
them.
That's what Togrick's good at, is worrying. He's a professional warrior.
I'm not surprised.
I sneeze violently in the mess hall.
Alright.
Whoa,
let's
watch
see.
it. You almost hit my steak, dude.
Yeah, well. Should have made me another one.
This Torvin slides out of the door and comes over to Aleister's door. As he knocks on your door.
Which one of you is it?
It's me. Let me in my room. I want a nap.
Was never locked. So
I assumed, as he kind of slides the door open, looking at you, just flustered and still angry, sitting in the corner of your bed. As he goes, "You're gonna sit over there for the whole trip.
more than likely, yeah.
If you sit down here flustered and frustrated, that means they won. If you want them to stop, show them that they're not bothering you. And then get them back when they least expect it." As he kind of lays down
What do you
and
think I've been
covers
doing?
himself over with a blanket.
What do you think I've been doing? You just planning, all right? They think I'm
It looks like you've been sitting in your room pouting like a 5-year-old.
Oh yeah, that too. But I've also been planning, so a bit of the both. All right, you take some, you lose some, you win some. All right, can't have all of it at one time.
Just saying. Food for thought. As he kind of rolls
Yeah,
over, facing the wall. Are you gonna so Aleister continues to sit in a room, even more frustrated now that Togrick's poked him. Planning.
Torvin spoke to him.
Torvin. As Gerard makes his way up into the mess, as you guys look over and see him enter. He looks slightly better than he did this morning as the color has returned to his face, but he still looks paler than normal and a bit weak as he enters the hall.
So when I see someone coming in, I immediately go to smack the steak away from Kilroy. Then I see that it's Gerard, and I kind of hesitate a minute, and then I put it down when I see his pallor cheeks. You look like you didn't sleep a wink last night.
I
I
actually,
slide the rest of my steak over to him. I'm like, you need to eat is.
I'm okay. Where'd you get a steak from? That's not even important. It's not even important. Copy the runes. I gave a copy of it to Vythe. Vythe said the Grandmaster might be able to read these because Vythe doesn't speak or read Fel. So I gave him one copy. Here's a copy of the runes back. I apologize.
You said Fel?
Yeah.
I might be able to decipher a little bit of the rune.
So remember, the runes are written in Infernal. Fel is the language that's spoken on Eridar.
It's like the base,
yes. Yeah. Infernal's the base. Fel is the bastardized version.
I was just saying that I might be able to understand bits and pieces of it.
You might get a syllable. Maybe. It's really, really watered down.
Well, I figure if we were going back to Emberfall and you're able to go back to the library, it's still a decent option of trying to be able to decode that.
Should only take us a couple more days. I'd say 2.5, 3, judging by the tiny blackout we all had.
Yeah. Wish I could sleep for 15 hours.
How does it feel to have my normal sleeping schedule? As I crack my neck. Have a seat. You look stiff as a board.
As he kind of passes the runes over to you, Kilroy, as Gerard plops down next to you guys.
Studying the shadow might actually pay off on this. It's the only reason I can speak Fel.
All right. Well, your study of the shadow may pay off. Fel being a derivative of Infernal. You recognize some of the glyphs as you take some time studying it while Gerard eats. Give me an intelligence check. As now that you've got a bit more time to study it, you realize with some time you might be able to interpret it, or at least parts of it.
And he says you're eating because I'm
Nat
forcing him to
20.
eat.
Nat 20.
Oh my god.
All right. With the natural 20...
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
As is often in our group, there's always a 5% chance. Let this meat, never let it die. Alright, I'll shut up now.
He lies. All right. So, as you're reviewing the runes while Gerard's eating his steak and him and Togric are speaking. Maybe after about 20 minutes, you finally recognize one of the runes. One of the runes for control. You realize it's just slightly different. One of the edges is inverse versus what it is in Fel, but it's extremely similar. And using that as a guide, you're able to, while not get a direct translation, you're able to get the gist of maybe what a quarter of these runes outline. As you realize this is a control beacon. It's somebody is using this beacon to channel something. It's probably a focal point based on what you understand, which is very limited about dreams and this kind of magic. Whomever or whatever is sending these images to Gerard, it looks like they're using that obelisk as a focal point, which is why he appears there every time.
I get this really big glimmer in my eye, and I snap my head towards Gerard. So I think I figured out what that obelisk you told me was.
And what is it?
It's a control beacon. They're using that to bring you there and do whatever they want whenever you're sleeping to you.
Do you think it could be Gregor reaching out to me?
I'm not 100% sure. I only understand about a quarter of what is actually going on here.
Hold on. Did you just
For you,
ask
think
if
of it like a
Gregor Sorry.
Just real quick, but while you're explaining it, think of it like a waypoint. So there's something on the other side sending a message through the control point, which then hits Gerard. So it's like a waypoint. Continue.
Okay. It's like a in-between point. It's something is sending a message, it hits that, and it's bouncing towards you.
So, Gregor gave himself up. If he's willingly reaching out, then that's one thing, but it's more than likely that he's being used to reach out. And last I checked, he didn't know Infernal or Runes of Power.
I have literally seen him in my dreams every night this week.
I'm not saying he's not involved, I just doubt he's in control of it. But great job, I guess. Studying the shadow got you a little bit closer to Rancor than any of us would have guessed, Kilroy. As I kind of warily eye you that you just discovered that in a few seconds. Kind of paranoid over here.
Thank you. I wasn't exactly sure I'd be able to understand it myself, but it looks like these are familiar.
Hey, Kilroy, I know it's reaching back a little bit, but, who summoned you to Illidion again?
It was...
So, Kilroy, as you remember back, you were summoned there by Andar himself as an expert on the shadow during the Peace Summit. Just remind you, because out of game, this was over a year ago. As an expert on the shadow in Yvren being a city-state that worships the shadow, he wanted to bring in an expert to make sure that they weren't doing anything untowards. He didn't quite trust the situation, which of course he ended up being proved correct when the city was pulled down into Rancor.
Andar was the one who actually brought me in. He suspected some shady stuff going down.
I see. Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
You're very welcome. The reason I got into studying the shadow was actually because I lost my wife to the shadow.
I remember you saying that. Sorry to hear it. It's never a pleasant experience.
Don't be sorry, just say you'll help me get payback on the bastard who did it.
You got it. And I kind of
Thank
turned
you.
back to staring at the table.
As you guys pass the rest of the day milling about, small conversations, and maybe a few of you take naps and studying the runes that Gerard had taken from his dreams, night will fall as the day passes, as you guys slowly make your way into the port of Farrock. And this is where we're going to take our 15-minute break. It's about that time of the day. Love all of you guys that are here right now. We're averaging, I think, about 9 viewers this so far, which is up for us. We appreciate all of you here. What we're going to do is we're going to take our 15 now. Let's say we'll be back at 5 after 9. It's currently 8:52, so 13. We'll be back at 5 after 9. All right, guys?
See you guys then.
welcome.
All right, everyone, and we're back with more of the fall, episode 28 of the Fall of Illidion. When we left before our break, our heroes had come together on their journey northeast along the Emberflow, first stopping at the city of Farrock before pushing on to Emberfall, and returning back after their expedition to the dwarven city of Darrendur. As they went along, Gerard had some more dreams. Aleister got tied to the prow of the boat and pouted downstairs for the rest of the afternoon. And Togric cheated Torvin out of some money. There's the TLDR of the first half of our session. As we continue on, night has fallen, and the boat that our heroes are journeying on has begun to pull in to the city of Farrock. Farrock sits on the western edge of the Emberflow upon a tall hill overlooking the rest of the river. It's got a very powerful defensive situation, obviously built with patrol in mind. It compromises the southernmost portion of the Duchy of Emberfall. The only real major, what you could call a city, underneath Emberfall's wing, ruled by the Baroness Livy Blake, the aunt of the Duke Alexander of Emberfall. As you all pull into the harbor, or what passes for a harbor along the river, the oars pulling up as you glide along the port, you hear Gorson call below, "All right, we've arrived at Farrock. We'll be staying here overnight and leaving first thing in the morning. If you're not back by sunup, we leave without you."
Yeah. Understood. As I am stretching with the rest of our motley crew, unless Aleister's still in his room here.
No, I gotta get out of the boat sometime.
As Aleister begins to walk up the stairs into the mess, as he heard the anchor drop, and he felt the ship stop moving, as for the first time in a day for some of you, you see Aleister.
Sleep good? After your bath? Oh, silent treatment. More mature than I was expecting from you, to be honest.
So, like...
Gorson? Gorson, is that your name?
That's the orc that hollered from the top, the first mate.
Yes, the orc that tied me up with my wonderful companions.
Yes.
To the bow of a ship on a wide river. Where is the nearest, what would you call those? Hotel? Inn. Inn is a great word. Where's the nearest inn at?
Torvin kind of turns to you as Gorson has walked away to deal with his crew. I mean, there's a few inns on the riverfront. You could definitely find, if you'd like to sleep in a warm bed on land tonight, you can find them almost anywhere along the riverfront, but you get what you pay for. If you want nicer, you should go farther into the city.
Gentlemen, as a token of our friendship, I would like to pay for everyone's room tonight.
Well, if you're paying, let's go to the helmsman, Torvin says.
How much is the helmsman?
The helmsman's where I got stabbed, isn't it?
The helmsman is where he got stabbed.
That
so the
hilarious,
last time,
I know it's affordable.
before the stream, the last time when they were coming to Darrendur, our group, as they were passing through Farrock, looking for passage to Darrendur, quicker passage, where they found out that Farrock was built on top of a lost dwarfen hold, a remnant of the old Blesnak kingdom that Togric's father now rules. And they found a tram down there that they took directly to Darrendur. Before that, however, there was an assassination attempt made on Togric's life by a woman that had seduced him and made her way into his bed.
For the record, I seduced her. Yeah, no, that was not a great experience. As I kind of rub at my chest, you had to pick the one spot here that I've been almost killed?
It's the nicest inn in town.
So I can't sleep on the boat?
If you want, you can.
Cool. I'm gonna sleep on the boat.
I'm gonna
I
go
also-
claim my free drinks for life after almost getting killed. So
I also don't think it's a very good idea for me to sleep somewhere public.
Wait. Torvin says, you said free drinks for life.
well, I did almost get killed in his establishment, and I
Why
may
are
have...
we not all going to the helmsman? Gerard, you can just get so drunk that you won't remember your dreams tonight.
You know, to be real
It's
honest
not.
with you, that's the plan.
Then come to the helmsman.
You won't get drunk enough, especially with your constitution, on a place like this.
It's not, him I'm worried about.
If I remember correctly,
It's the people around I'm worried about.
really strong drink that I end up buying multiple for you.
That's fine. I'll get the job done even if it takes me all night.
Not sure I like this new side of you, Gerard. I was used to the teetotaler.
Not today. Please, not today.
That's fine. Come on. Drink never killed anyone. Well,
Kilroy, are you
of
coming?
course.
So I am still very skeptical of Aleister. I am staying on the ship, but I will send my bear to bring Gerard back once he passes out drunk.
Okay. How about no? Because I'm not gonna explain to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the bar that there's just a very polite bear sitting in the corner, unattended. So,
Now, why would you be
He is
skeptical of
attended.
me, Kilroy?
She is
I have
attended.
done nothing.
it's because you've done nothing that he's skeptical. I, however, know you probably won't try to kill me, so... Can't be
Yeah,
worse
that's
than my
what-
last visit here.
Definitely won't try to kill you.
Can't be
Well, I
any
definitely-
worse than my last visit.
Definitely
Listen.
leave my armor and everything on the boat.
Okay.
I don't think he should be sleeping around public places at
That's
the
fine.
moment.
You can carry his drunk ass away later. In the meantime, as I step
Realize
off the ramp onto the docks,
If you want to stay here with Vythe, that's your business. We're getting drunk.
Me and
going
Blythe will
back to the
study.
boat.
and I'm keeping my armor on this time.
To the
Alright,
end
Bella. Whenever he passes out, make sure to bring him back.
If I am sober enough to remember, certainly.
I said Bella.
Oh. Well,
All right. As Gerard, Aleister, Togric, Torvin, and Bella make their way down the ramp onto the waterfront of Farrock, the kind of hill in these large walls form a semicircle around the city, leaving just this hill that drops down to the harbor. As you guys make your way down to the waterfront, Kilroy returning to the depths of the ship and to Vythe, the city is quite busy, bustling. You notice, compared to the last time, the guard presence has doubled. As you see, there are, where before you only saw 2 red knights on the entirety of Farrock. I mean, the entirety of the waterfront, the Red Knights of Farrock, some of the most well-trained soldiers in the marches. This time you see 10, easily, just at a first glance, patrolling the waterfront, with the regular guard patrols having doubled as well. There are quite a few river ships here, and as you look about, you realize all of them are being loaded up with grain. Foodstuffs, livestock, all different manner of sustenance.
the hell's going on here as I tap on one of the red knights?
Alright, for a moment he turns to you, and kind of looks at you for a second, just a flash of recognition before he goes, they're all sending shipments up to Emberfall. With the recent attack, most of the city stores were destroyed, and they've requested aid.
Oh. Yes, the refugees from Illidion.
Well, not only that, but the stores that were intended to get the city through the winter were destroyed during the assault. The citizens themselves, they said, are eating their last rations.
Surprised to hear that, I suppose. You seem to, pardon me for asking, but you seem to recognize me. Any reason for
Oh,
that?
it was nothing. It was nothing at all. I thought you were someone else. As he kind of bows. Good day to you, sir.
Hold on a second. Last time I was here, I was almost murdered. Care to elaborate?
You can give me an insight check.
Alright, I'm really good at that skill. Definitely. Really put my points in bad places, I'm realizing. Oh, it doesn't matter when you roll bad. 16.
Okay. He looks at you. He's definitely not telling you everything he knows. As he's kind of trying to back away from you slowly. It's fine. It's fine. As he kind of takes his hand, it's just rubbing his neck. I thought you were someone I knew.
Oh, gods. Please don't tell me they're freaking out that I killed that. Good to know that the Red Knights are full of dishonest people. As I kind of do an about face, and
What are you dishonest?
that's what you're being right now, aren't you? As I look at him with my blind eye.
Roll me an intimidation check. I think that is what I would call for here.
I mean, I appreciate it, because persuasion, not good. So... crit. Wow.
As he kind of looks about. Fine, we can do this here. As he holds up his hand to his fellow guards, as quickly the three closest in the area come to his side. Tagric Hammerfist, you're under arrest. We're to bring you and your companions directly to the castle.
For
The
what?
Baroness wishes, your aunt wishes to speak to you.
This is ridiculous.
As he goes, this is why I wanted to wait. As he kind of leans over, and with your passive perception, even it's enough to hear this, as he goes, we're gonna need more men.
You'd need about 100 if I was willing to resist. But I'll go by my lonesome. My companions are a bit occupied, you see. As I try riding on that crit. My intimidate.
Well, my orders, fine. Where will you guys be?
We'll be staying at the Bandered Mare.
You mean the Drunken Helmsman?
No, I know what I said.
Okay, roll me deception.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I just thought you forgot, but you were lying. This
No,
is
I
good
was
news.
lying. This is a little known skill. 22.
All right, I'm not familiar with that one, but it must be one of those rat holes along the waterfront. You had better be there if we come to find you.
Let's get this over with. Don't want you to have to change your pants.
As the four guards quickly surround you, one of them holding out his hand for your weapon. As this one looks a bit older compared to the young one that originally found you, a bit more world-weary, clearly a veteran of several battles, as he just kind of, it's a formality.
Was this part of the request from my aunt?
Standard procedure. If it makes you feel better, I'll be standing right here with it, and I won't leave your sight.
That does make me feel better. Try not to drop it, as I set my heavy hammer in his hands. You're holding a relic of history, you know.
As he kind of picks it up and puts it over his shoulder, putting away his spear. You know, all of our red knights are armored with short swords, heavy armor, spear and shield. As he puts his spear away and throws your hammer over his shoulder as he trudges in front of you, as Tagric walks into the city towards the castle. Is anybody going with him? Or
Yeah, I'm not going to let you go alone.
Or are you guys going to... I mean, he did get you out of it if you don't want to follow.
No.
Relax, I can handle this. You need a drink more than you need to bumble into all this mess.
I was just going
Sorry.
to enjoy some clothing today.
Yeah, go enjoy some self-loathing, Gerard. You've earned it.
Can't let you go alone.
If I remember correctly, Ant was an attractive female, correct?
She is a very beautiful dwarfen lass with a penchant for high-end drugs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I'm going to go to the inn anyways, so...
Gerard, it's really alright. Besides, I'd rather you watch out for the time bomb, as I point to Aleister.
I won't be able to deal with the crushing guilt if anything happens.
Such a downer. Come on, then.
All right. As,
Bella is following behind you because she
Bella
was
looks
told to
back
follow
and
Gerard.
forth. Yeah, and then follows Gerard as Aleister heads by himself. Now, actually,
Torvin.
Torvin looks back and forth. Shit. All right, let's go talk to me sister-in-law as he follows with Togric.
Aleister ditched for a night on the town.
It's just going to be a very elaborate jailbreak.
As he turns to you, Aleister, but save me a spot at the tavern. Believe me, I'm not going to let this take long. So,
I need to head to the shadiest bar available immediately.
all right. So the rest of the party proceeds with the guards towards the castles. I'll stick with Aleister as you see them recede off in the distance towards the proper part of town near the northeastern end, where the castle's looming on the top of the hill over the rest of the city. You're still down in the waterfront, with half the Red Knights leaving. The guard presence here is significantly dropped. Are you interested in finding a place to drink on the waterfront now, or do you still want to head for the Helmsman?
Yeah, let's just go to the Helmsman.
All right. As you make your way through the waterfront, the smell of the water quickly being overwhelmed by the smell of the city, as much as it's well. There's sewers, and it's not the worst city you've ever been in, but it's still a city. But even then, the smell of the stink of the city, the smoke, the waste, the people, is still preferable to you than the feeling of being on the water as you make your way through the town. It's shortly after dusk, and so most of the shops are closing up, and people are beginning to fill the streets as they make their way either home or towards their chosen pub. As you make your way through the closing market district before finally coming into the commons, seeing the drunken helmsman off in the distance. It's tall wooden walls coming up 3 stories. Its thatched roof once again looming over the rest of the area. As you can even see, still boarded up on the side of the building is the broken window where the assassin was pushed through as she fell to her death.
That was a great night. It was a great night, I just gotta say. It's a reminiscence.
You just kind of sit there and reminisce. You can still see the where the blood had kind of soaked into the ground there, next to there where she fell, bleeding out.
Forget how dark that man is. Whatever. To the good old bar.
All right. As you walk in, the place is bustling. As you can see that the assassination attempt just a few weeks prior hasn't killed their business. As there's a bard sitting in the corner, a young, beautiful elf with golden hair and brown skin, playing a wonderful tune and singing, enchanting the rest of the inn as people are drinking and having a good time, and they're sloshing as people sway back and forth, trying to sing very much out of tune with this beautiful woman. As you look behind the bar, the same woman that ran the place before is still here. She's middle-aged as before. Clovis was her name. White hair, prematurely aged, coming back into a small bun, and she's hurriedly behind the bar. Hey there, Jane! Make sure you bring out both of those ales to table 7. On this... Hurry! As she looks over to you. Oh, what can I... And just immediately recognizing you. I remember you. You were here with those dwarves and that gnome and the big one. You guys ruined the top floor of my bar.
I have no idea what you're talking about, I'm gonna be honest.
We only see so many Talaxi come through here.
Well, that sounds like you're just kind of saying that every Talaxi looks alike.
That's not what I'm saying, but I would recognize you in an instant. You guys ruined the top half of my bar and didn't pay for anything and then fled before the matter could be resolved.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't exactly us. It was the assassins.
I know, and
It's
I've
also-
gotten my compensation from them, but I'm still gonna bitch about it.
Well, nothing I can do about it, I guess. It already happened.
What can I get for you? She just kind of...
Well, since you're being so rude, nothing. Now turn around, leave.
You just kind of immediately walk out of the helmsman like, I'm not giving her my drakes.
No.
As you walk out of the door back into the open area.
Is there anybody just kind of like walking like through the streets, or I mean, I guess they were, but
Yeah, the streets are full at this point. What are you looking for?
just talk to somebody, be like, hey, where's a really good bar besides this one?
Okay, so you walk up to the nearest travelers walking through. A human woman accompanied by her husband with 3 young children as they're making their way eastward through the city. As you kind of stop them, and the woman kind of turns you. Hello.
Yeah. Do you know like any good bars / inns around here besides like the Helmsman back here? Not great service, wouldn't recommend.
Oh, well, the helmsman is the best one here, but I guess if you're looking for another one, there's the Green Stallion down near the Marketway. I guess you could go there as her husband. It's kind of like, come on, we'll miss the show. As just hurrying her along.
What show is this?
As there's a troop of travelers in town for the evening. They're putting on a show near the Eastern Wall.
And it's happening soon, you said?
Yeah, the show's tonight.
This sounds fun. I think I shall go to this show instead.
Right. As you head off, kind of not directly following the family, as they're kind of like, you've got a really large axe and you're a tall fellow, and this husband's not very big, and neither is the wife, and they've got small children, as they kind of hurry off towards the show.
Seeing that
the children are so excited. Come on, I want to see.
This town is not very Talaxi friendly.
It's not that this Talaxi friendly, but you're big and scary.
Hell yeah, brother!
As we'll come over to the rest of our companions. It takes some time as you guys weave your way through the city, eventually gaining access to the castle as you're quickly admitted in through the guards and set off in a side room. You haven't been manacled yet, or at all, I should say, not yet, but you haven't been placed in manacles, and you're kind of left in an antechamber to sit. You haven't been brought to the dungeons, and they leave a sole guard in there, the one that's been holding your hammer, just kind of leaning back against the door, patiently waiting. Though you could get a little agitated because he's got your hammer, the top piece on the ground, kind of using it as a cane as he leans back against the wall.
Pick it up.
What?
Pick up my hammer.
Oh, it'll be fine, as he kind of pulls it up and slings it over his shoulder. It's finely crafted.
Don't think you understand that that's the hammer of the current High King of all dwarves. So, treat it with a little
Then why do
respect.
you have it?
You better hope you're not wasting my time.
As at this moment, the doors kind of part, as a familiar dwarf walks in. What'd you say?
Wait, what?
Oh, I thought you said something. I'm sorry.
No.
As a familiar dwarf walks through, his long blonde braided mustache coming down either side with his goatee slinging down, the shield slung over his side as he wears a bit of chainmail coming drooping down to his knees, as you recognize Helm, the captain of Livy's guard, and her brother. It walks in and kind of looking around. Aye, Togric, come on, she's waiting for you.
Mind telling me what the hell this is about?
She's pissed.
She's always pissed. What's different this week?
Yeah, well, there was an assassination attempt on your life. You ran out in the middle of it, and then your friend disappeared after being questioned, so we had no idea what was going on. It's just, it's best for her to speak to you. And then, of course, it's what happened after. Just come.
God bless. She high again? As I
No.
step in. Oh,
No.
he says that, I'm like, oh shit. Right,
No,
and I
she is
straighten
not.
my armor, and, you know.
And she hasn't partaken in days. Not since you left.
And I straighten it, and I even, like, fix my hair, and you cover up the bald eyeball, and...
As he quickly ushers you in, bringing you to the door to her antechamber, just quickly opening the door as he shows you the interior, where you see Livy sitting on a chair, just no nonsense look on her face, wearing a long, simple robe made out of blue silk, sitting on this red satin chair in this well furnished room with a table, a small coffee table in between her and another red cushioned chair as she motions for you to sit in it. Nothing on the table. Sit.
Please would do wonders as I sit down.
So, the last time you were in my city, I gave you, as my nephew, by law, usage of our archives and our full cooperation. And then I understand there was some kind of assassination attempt on your life. Somebody in my city ends up dead. You and all of your people, without so much as a peep, disappear into the bowels beneath the city.
As she's talking, I'm undoing my straps and my armor.
So then I send Zenithar after you, my son, and he comes back 3 days later, broken and unconscious.
Zenithar.
Yes.
Did he say
Where did
what?
you go? What happened? And what happened to my son? He's still in a coma.
Okay, in order then. As I finish taking off, which she'll probably recognize the armor, and I pull down my underclothes here and show her the scar that I had sealed shut. It wasn't a failed assassination attempt per se. I should be dead. And judging by I knew nothing about them, I decided going underground was the pertinent thing to do. Given that they're targeting my entire family, I wasn't entirely sure you weren't included. You being none the wiser was a pseudo-ploy, if you will. If they see that your reactions are completely normal, they might not target you, and you're still breathing. So,
That makes sense.
We headed
Continue.
down to the ruins underneath Farrock here, and discovered the ruins, further into the ruins of the Blesnak Kingdom.
Wait, what ruins?
You haven't heard much around town then? There's a
Well,
prospector.
I know they were excavating things below, but they hadn't found anything yet. What ruins did you find?
The ruins of the original Blesnak Kingdom.
Well, you found a lost dwarfen hold below?
Of a sort. As I kind of look at the company that's in the room right now.
The room is empty besides for her private guards.
And
And
the
as you
person
kind of look
holding my
around to
hammer?
see them, he waited outside the
Oh,
door.
okay.
He's just on the other side of the door. With a flick of her wrist, the guards disappear. Continue. I knew there were some ruins below, but I did not know there was an entire hold, one of the lost holds of the Blesnak. Tell me what you found. Because when we went to follow up after we found Zenithar with battered and bruised, unconscious in one of
pissed
the
off the
tunnels
Guardians.
below. What Guardians? Because when we tried to follow him, the entire passageway was blocked.
What has ever been referred to as guardians in our history, Ant? Guardians.
Okay. I'm not an avid reader. I concern myself with the matters of today. So why don't you break it down simple for me? I need to know if there's a threat beneath my city.
Not exactly. Magic golems, powered by old dwarven runes, operating under a fundamental set of rules, preventing them from killing any Bladesong blood. That said, Zenithar's blood has been polluted by non-Bladesong blood. Ergo, he's identified as an invader, a threat. He probably provoked them, refused to leave, as we both know he's keen to do, and was bashed for it. They probably didn't kill him because once his blood was all over the place, they could scan it a little bit better. Where he may have been found.
Yeah,
by
and
some
he's only related to you by law. So I don't even know. God. She's kind of so. What are I need to know what exactly did you find below?
The ruined hold of the Wyvern Skull family. Including...
How large are we talking? All we had found was the outskirts, a few temples, passageways, nothing major. How big?
miles. Including a majority of it which is collapsed, but apparently there's still a threat under those collapsed ruins. Leftovers from the demonic invasion, as far as I could get from the Guardians. Although they seem buried under literal tons of rock and functioning metal dwarven defenses, so...
Well, the Red Knights have just returned from the front. I'll have to I'll have to see what the Academy can do. Maybe if we can organize an expedition down there, we can see what we're dealing with.
I'd advise against it for the time being, unless you have
Why?
dwarves who have the blood. Dad's also planning to send an expedition this way, heralded by my brother.
I'm sure he won't be stepping onto our territory without speaking to me first.
I'm sure not. We got here a little bit before a messenger would. I specified that it was underneath Farrock.
Well, of course. I mean, anything that's found beneath there, of course, belongs to my city. And
I'm
through
no
that to
longer
Alexander.
involved. I'm no longer involved in all the politics, Aunt. I'm sure there will be much discussion over that.
Well, I'm glad you're safe. I just wish there had been warning. I sent Zenithar after you because I didn't know where you were, and the last tales I had heard was that you were looking for the prospector to go beneath. That was the last word I had.
I don't think I'm being clear about how close it was. I haven't been that close to death since the calamity. So I might not have made the most emotional decision, but I still stand by it being the right one.
I'm sorry for the hassle then. Well,
You mentioned Zenithar's in a coma.
yes. He's still unconscious. Our healers aren't sure if he'll recover.
What's the damage? Blunt force or some kind of leftover poison?
Blunt force.
Okay.
They've done all that can be done for him. For now, it's up to him.
May I see him?
The healers have got him in some kind of stasis spell. They won't even let me in there.
Well, he is Zenithar's son. He'll come out of it before too long, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Your boy's hard to put down, both of them.
I'm sorry I
Had
snapped
me
at you.
arrested? Oh, that part.
I needed answers.
Are you satisfied?
Now that I know what's down there, we can prepare to handle it.
Absolutely. Do be aware, though, they perceive anyone not of the blood as a threat and an invader in their most private sanctums. So,
We'll make sure to take precautions next time, and we won't go down there without learned scholars.
Probably for the best. Maybe you can work something out and re-strengthen the ties you left behind with Father.
I'll have to figure it out. I'll write to Alcaz at once. Thank you, Tagric. You and your friends are free to stay in Farrock for as long as you'd like.
We should be heading out by the morning. We have matters to attend to back in Emberfall. I hear you're sending aid?
Yes, of course. Alexander wrote to us. The messenger arrived just a few days past. Apparently the city is on the verge of starvation.
An entire sea next to them. They never bothered to expand the harbors.
They could only bring in so much, and almost all of their stores were destroyed. It takes time, and there's a large population there.
Particularly since other places weren't taking Illidion refugees. But
Well,
not my business. As I kind of stand up. Well, I'm glad you care if I'm dead or not, I suppose. Hell of a lot more than Torvin, old bastard, as I look over at him.
so remember, your companions were left in the other room. They only brought you
Oh,
in.
that's right. Okay. Yes, I kind of, glare behind me then. Never mind. Trust me, I'm glad I'm not dead either. As I kind of turn around and show the other side of the wound. Did go all the way through. I'm lucky to be alive. As I start.
By Helmvor!
Yeah, I sealed it shut. As there's 2 perfect handprints in a black marks on either side of my chest. Like I said, it was close. As I start putting the armor back on. If a messenger does show up,
I'm glad you're okay.
Me too. If a messenger does show up, I'd appreciate it if you at least humored him. Okay? I'd rather not have my family fighting each other again. I just had to finish dealing with that.
I understand.
Besides, if I put 2 familial feuds away, they might actually ask me to be king again, the crazy old bastards. No. Get up. If you'll excuse me, Aunt. I believe, you have an appointment with some recreational relaxation.
No. After what happened last time, and I was out of it, I'm done with it.
Good for you. Glad to hear it.
Convey my regards to your friends and my apologies at the inconvenience. And she kind of waves her hand for the herald to open the door.
And I want my damn hammer back as I get outside the room.
As you walk through, the guard's just standing here as he hands you back your hammer.
Take the hammer from him and kind of look to everyone. Everything's okay now. Formally not arrested. Just a little pissed I got nearly killed and didn't tell her.
For your trouble, as the herald kind of walks in and sets a small pouch in front of each one of you, and then hands you, you notice he doesn't hand Torvin one, but he hands you one for, 2 for your companions that aren't here, Aleister and Kilroy, that she met prior.
You still on the outs with Auntie then?
It's fine.
Torvin, it's not fine. Talk to her, damn you. She's sober and you need to hash this out. It's been 3 decades. Get over it. As I gesture to the door. We just finished watching our family tear at each other. It's time to mend old wounds.
I'll be fine, lad. Who wants to go taste this ale that the helmsman's got and catch up with Aleister?
Disappointing. After everything.
As he looks at you, Gerard.
And here I thought you lost enough family. As I walk past him. He just ignores it? Alright.
Gerard, ready for an ale?
Yeah, I'll go. As I shoot a glance to Togric, kind of pained. I could still really use it.
Yeah, you know what? Me too. Besides, what are the odds I get assassinated twice in the same place?
As Torvin just kind of chuckles as you guys make your way out of the castle. Coming back to Kilroy. So, your companions had gone farther into the city to enjoy the nightlife and a bit of R&R after their journey through Darender and their river ride up to Emberfall, while you stayed with the Vythe as you walk back beneath the lower decks. What are you doing?
I'm gonna see if Vythe wants to go back over the runes, and since I understand more, he might be able to like bounce back off of me ideas.
Okay. So you're spending the night then studying the runes, trying to see if you can, identify them further, or what are you trying to
I'm
do?
trying to see if Vythe would have heard anything about this since he's been around and kind of in the shadows for a while.
So you walk down into his room then, as once again he's by himself, though you do notice a plate with just a few crumbs on it as if he had had a small meal. As you walk into the room as he's just reading, you open the door and he kind of peers over his book at you before going back to his text.
Glad you got something to eat.
I was hungry.
Good to hear. Did you hear any about the updates on Gerard?
I talked to him a bit during the afternoon. Told me a bit about what you had discovered in terms of some kind of control beacon. It was a bit over my head.
Did he tell you about the part where the black mist was writhing around his body and primarily doing something to his head?
He might have mentioned something along those lines.
Alright. I don't know what to do or where to go from here. We just have to wait and see.
You really need to find an expert on the matter. I mean, I read, of course, but really, my expertise in these matters is, as he kind of hesitates a moment, confined to other matters. I'm not really a studier of the shadow in a scholarly sense, but more of applied theory.
Fair enough. Is there any way I could help you, since I am a scholar of the shadow?
I mean, unless you know how to cure corruption, no. No.
Intelligence check. Can I do that?
Offhand, you know that once it gets to a certain point, there is no way to cure it. The only cure is death.
But once it gets to that certain point, can you cure it before that certain point?
Yes, but he is way too far gone.
Okay. There's nothing I know
He
of.
has used too much of his abilities for too long.
Okay. There's nothing I know of off the top of my head that would help you at this point.
Well then, to the book. As he goes back to his raunchy sex novel.
Checks out.
Alright, so I'm gonna sit here and, I guess, play, Jewel Craft.
Alright, so what are you trying to craft?
It's an uncut sapphire.
Alright,
just
and you're
trying to
trying to cut it?
Yeah.
Okay. So give me your check. As you kind of bring out your tools and sit at the table at the end of the room.
Nat 20.
All right. As you spend the afternoon, and I know you've worked on this gem a few times already. As you'll finish
this one's
it,
actually brand new.
This
I
one's
found
brand
it on
new?
somebody. Yeah.
well, with your crit, I'll let you finish it today. Then I guess you had just finished your other one. As with your crit, this will be a perfect sapphire.
Okay.
As you spend the night whittling away your time with all the frustrations recently, just kind of zoning out in this monotonous skill. It requires skill, but this monotonous task. As we're going to come over to Aleister. So, Aleister, you've been pointed recently towards the green stallion as you make your way through there. Actually, now that I remember, you are making your way towards the show
Yes.
near the eastern wall as you follow this family that joins a larger group, which joins a larger group until finally you find yourself in the midst of a crowd going towards the eastern wall. Off in the distance, you see a large pavilion erected just inside of the wall that leads to the Giants Road, farther north, eventually reaching Emberfall. It's a large pavilion. As you see, there's all different manner of people outside, jugglers. As you see a half-orc with throwing up these different balls in the air. You'll see an elf man with long red hair blowing fire through through a ring as you're kind of walking up. As the people around you are all excited. Oh, are you ready for the show? Yes, it's their second night. I heard it was brilliant yesterday.
I mean, I don't really have anybody to talk to, but I mean, like, I'm fascinated. I was like, whoa, this is a cool show. And then I guess
Okay.
like, it's like, oh, this isn't even the actual show. This is just sideshows right now.
Just pull a bracket and talk to yourself. I believe in you.
No, I'm not psychotic. Island man.
All right. As more and more of the group begins to funnel into the tent, as you get closer, you'll see there's a man standing out front wearing a very fine vest, black lined with silver coming down. The vest made of velvet, a long cloak flowing behind him as he wears these fine breeches with tall boots that come up to his knee and a very flamboyant floppy hat. He says, "Come one, come all, come and see the magnificent menagerie of the moon. Come and see wonders like you've never seen before." As he goes, you, come on, you're next. Then you can come in for the low price of 2 drakes.
Two drakes. That's pocket change. I pull out 2 drakes. Let me see here. I gotta go to my sheet, but I'm almost positive I got 2 drakes.
Yeah,
I got plenty of drakes.
As you go in to the show, as quickly over the next 20 minutes the area begins to fill as you ready for the show to start. The excitement's palpable in the air. As you notice, there's a lot of children in here, but also a lot of families. There's also a lot of older people in here. A few wizened old couples sitting in the back, excited to see the carnival. As it's not often these traveling troops pass through town. There's not many of them along the free marches, considering travel between the city-states isn't particularly safe. After some time, people stop filling into the tent as the man you had seen before with the floppy hat and the long purple-dyed goatee comes down into the center of the pavilion. Welcome, everyone, to the carnival, to the magnificent menagerie of the moon. Here you will see wonders never seen before in Farrock, mysteries to delight the senses. Come and join us on our adventure. And as you sit there throughout the evening, watching the various different acts, a man walking in, sitting on one foot on the back of a bear, doing flips onto another bear through a ring of fire. You see a trapeze act as they whittle away through the top of the tent, juggling in between 4 different people as they go back and forth in all different manner of acts, singing throughout the evening.
So it's a circus. Hell yeah.
It is a circus.
Obviously very entertaining. Definitely worth my 2 drakes.
Yes, it's probably the first circus that you've ever been to. As while these would sometimes come to Northridge, or Otello would never take you. He said there was better ways to spend your money.
Look at me now.
And then bought training dummies and buckets of water.
as we'll come over to the rest of our companions. As you guys leave the castle, you come back out, maybe about an hour and a half after you originally entered, as the night is beginning to grow late.
God, I don't remember this inn being so far away.
It's not that far. Come on.
Come to think of it, we never really did explain what happened. They're probably a little rattled. Ugh. Oh well. Let's go.
As you guys make your way through the town, eventually coming up to the helmsman. As you come in, the same as I described to Aleister before, the place is packed, even more so now as the night has passed on. The beautiful elven maiden sitting in the corner strumming her tune as the place sways back and forth with the music as you walk up to Clovis sitting behind the bar. Welcome! More of you guys again. I just saw your friend earlier, the Talaxi folks. Did you guys all come back at once or something? You guys ruined the upper floor of my bar.
Are you really getting indignant with me for almost being assassinated in your place of business?
You almost got assassinated. I had to renovate the whole top floor. It was a bad day for us both.
As I say this assassinated thing to the general lobby here of people.
As everybody just kind of stops for a moment and turns and looks before going back to drinking.
A bad day for us both. That's putting it mildly. Besides, I believe your bartender promised me a few drinks next time I came back.
Of course she did. It's fine, it's fine. You get a scar, I get to whinge. That's how it goes. And she walks off to grab you guys an ale.
Works for me. And I sit in the exact same seat as I did last time, if it's open.
Torvin kind of waddles up next to you and pats the seat next to him for Gerard.
As I sit down next to him.
Careful, Gerard. Torvin might be old, but he can still drink half the dwarves I know under the table.
As she brings back over and puts an ale in front of each one of you, will that be all? As Torvin holds up his finger? No. We'll take 3 dragon punch. Thank you. As he slides a dragon across the table. She's like, all right. As she goes down and pulls out 3 metal glasses in front of you. Pulling out tongs and putting on large gloves. As she pulls out the smoking kettle from underneath the bar. Pulling just a shot in each glass. As it's this purple bubbling liquid that seems to pop and smoke from within the metal glass.
I put my hand on Gerard's shoulder and I say, "Your god won't help you here." As I pick up my thing of this shot of dragon punch. Thank God, fortitude saves count as poison.
To friends.
To friends. And to the dead enemies. I toast him.
As Torvin downs his shot.
Oh, 25.
Need a fortitude save from you as well, Gerard.
25 and I still don't think it's enough.
My bear howls. They all cheers.
Alright, as Togric, you feel it kind of burns as it goes down your throat and kind of hits you a little bit as you cough for a second. Gerard, you down it easily. It kind of tickles as it weighs down. It hits your stomach with a thud, but, I mean, you don't really feel it.
I'm going to need a few more of those.
Togric, it kind of bubbles and hits your stomach. You kind of burp with a bit of purple mist coming out of your mouth.
That never gets old.
Another! As she brings around another round.
Why not? As I flick a gold coin across the table. It's your money anyway, right?
As she kind of... Just don't get pissed drunk in my bar. Not many people can handle this. A lot of these.
We're not people, we're dwarves. And he's a paladin. They're basically cheaters. And I get ready for the next one.
As all you throw them back, give me another fortitude save.
Stacking DCs are awful.
Alright, so both of you guys are beginning to feel it, getting a bit tipsy. As you guys continue to drink your drinks, taking periodic shots throughout your night at the bar. What I'm going to do, instead of role-playing you guys getting completely trashed, I'm going to have each one of you guys roll me 3 more fortitude saves for the rest of the night, and we'll see how drunk you are and if you make it back to the ship. Or if Kilroy has to come find you.
Let him roll his first.
Alright, I've got his 3. Go ahead and roll your 3. So we've got a 30, a 23, and a 32.
I've got a 31,
20.
31, 26, and 22.
All right. Ooh, very nice. Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna modify that, and I want all of you guys to give me both of you to give me a will save for our It's a Trap.
Oh, God. Seriously.
Thank you, big brain girl.
Hey, why did we come up with all these bad ones that they could do for us here?
I love it.
Alright, will save. Okay. 17.
Okay. So, as you guys continue to get drunk, Torvin just kind of laughs and look back and forth as you guys drinking. Togric, you are pretty drunk. I mean, you're not like shit-faced throwing up, but you are pretty drunk at this point, throwing it back. And Gerard, you're feeling good. You're not drunk by any means, but you're feeling good as you're sitting there. As while you guys aren't looking, Togric pours a small powder in both of your drinks. As you guys sit here drinking, you throw back your next shot, and Gerard, as you look at Togric, where you saw him before, you see a towering minotaur. And Togric, you see the same thing as you look at Gerard.
You are taller than I remember, and have more horns. Which means I probably don't need more of these. I'll have one more as I tap the bar.
Gerard, as you turn to Togric, you see a minotaur with this like flaming black fire coming off of its horns. It almost seems to peer into your heart.
Togric, I don't drink much, but I'm pretty sure this turned you evil.
Turn me evil? I've been evil. For like, as I'm counting on my fingers, 2.5 decades? No. 2 decades? A decade. Something like that. Where's my drink?
I squint my eyes at him and detect evil.
He is evil as shit.
When did you get so shiny?
What?
You're shiny. Like, right here. And I pat at the space between, just kind of running my hands through my minotaur horns, I guess, but you're shiny. Right here.
As he's running his hands over your breastplate, but for him, he's running his hands through your fur.
I'm not even wearing my armor.
Oh, yeah, so he's just running his hands through your chest hair at this point.
Right there.
Stop.
It's like a tiny flickering of white.
And to you, it seems like this giant minotaur is running his, like, massive hands through your chest hair.
Does it feel like a hoof?
It sure does.
No! Stop! Togric!
Hey, don't push. That's not
And
nice.
I reach up and, like, smack the minotaur's face.
Alright, as all of a sudden you see this minotaur just reel back and fucking rail you one.
Don't do that. It's making my head spin. Yeah. Why is everything spinning? As I kind of slip out of my stool and kind of like plant butt on the floor.
Are you Togric or are you a bull?
I'm bulls?
With feet and horns.
I don't
As
know.
you look, you just see this little misshapen fey creature sitting where Torvin was sitting, just giggling incoherently.
Pixies, yes. I can taste my teeth as I kind of feel around in my mouth.
I don't think you should worry about the taste of your teeth. It's just,
What do your teeth taste like?
just the absence of the taste of teeth is what worries me.
My teeth taste like strong ale.
And
No, we
blood.
just drink strong ale.
And iron. As I cough a little bit of blood from that punch to my face, you asshole. I'm gonna take a leak, if you'll excuse me, fairy and bullman. As I kind of turn and I see Bella in the corner, and I'm like, oh, it's Belly. Hey, girl, come here. As I kind of like stand up and wobble a little bit. And
Bella
then
stands on both legs.
go over to the bear. At least you're normal. As I like scratch her on her head. Can you take me to sleep?
As Bella just kind of looks at you, looks at Gerard, and just shakes her head no.
Oh, that's okay. I remember how to get there, and I still have to go to the bathroom. Excuse me. As I step out front into the open air outside of the tavern here. And just kind of look around. I'm looking at the sky and I forgot what I came out here to do.
Alright, are you looking for somewhere to use the bathroom?
Alleyway.
Alright, as you kind of stumble around, you walk over to what you assume to be the nearest alleyway and whip it out and go to the bathroom before eventually trying to stumble your way back to the ship.
I do have the presence of mind to tuck it back in first, for the
This
record.
is fair.
And then go.
As Gerard, you're sitting here drinking with Torvin, and after maybe about another hour of sitting here drinking what appears to be this fey fairy, eventually the magic of the powder wears off, and the fairy just kind of falls away as you see Torvin sitting there.
Well, Torvin, now that you may or may not any longer be a fairy,
I was never a fairy, lad. It was just a bit of fun. You both needed to lighten up a bit.
okay? Whatever you say, ferryman. I'm gonna head back to the boat now.
Fair enough. Come on, I'll walk with you. Come on, Bella.
Stomp, stomp, stomp.
As you guys proceed your way back towards the boat. Aleister, the carnival runs along till maybe about midnight. It's a brilliant show. They're quite skilled, as eventually, you've eaten some snacks. They've had some candied apples that they brought around that you've never had before that tasted sweet and fresh. And a bit of flavored mead, citrus flavored, before eventually you're able to depart, having had quite a good time. Where are you going?
Yeah. So I'm thinking that I will probably end up at. Hey, I can't think myself in my ears. I was thinking probably that other bar.
Okay. You want to head over to the Green Stallion?
Yeah, is that a bar / inn? I'd assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. As you make your way, it's not that far, being over in the Market District, which is in the eastern part of Farrock. As you walk over, it's still bustling. It's not nearly as busy as the helmsman was. As you walk in, there's a lone dwarf over in the corner, kind of sitting here, beating on a drum, muttering some low tunes, some deep throat singing as he kind of fills the bar. This is mostly filled with people that live in Farrock instead of travelers or sailors. So it's a bit more low-key. As you walk up to the inn, there's a portly man behind the bar, balding human with gray hair. He says, "What can I get for you, sir?"
What's the best tasting drink you have here?
Oh, you'll definitely want some of our honey brew ale.
Honey brew ale it is then.
All right, we ship this stuff in straight from Korrisk. It's excellent. As he comes over, there's only so many places they'll take it to, and we just happen to be one of their licensed dealers. As he sets it down in front of you,
The
taste is brilliant. Yes.
So take a drink.
So it is perfectly spiced. It's excellent made.
So
It's a bit of spice with some honey laced through it. It's got a pretty interesting flavor to it.
second. Jim Big Maple. Obviously
That's
compliment. So obviously compliment them, and then on the drink, then would say, well, obviously this place was highly recommended. I actually was over at the other popular bar around here, whatever it's called.
Oh, the Drunken Helmsman.
Yeah, terrible service. Wasn't a huge fan.
Ah, well, you're always welcome here during your travels.
I appreciate that. I didn't realize that everything was so busy tonight. You had a show going on and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people are out wanting to take in the show.
I've never been before. It was a great time.
Yeah. They haven't been by for a few years, so I know a lot of people were taking their children.
Yeah. Good time.
Well, are you looking for a room?
Yeah, definitely use a room for the night.
Okay. Between the ale and the room, are you looking for anything to eat?
Yeah, I haven't eaten that much the last few days, so
Not a
I could
problem.
definitely take. What are you guys cooking tonight?
Well, we got a bit of roast going on in the back. Bring it out with some potatoes and carrots and some beans.
Yeah, if I could just get a double order of that roast, obviously on a large.
Not a problem. I can do the whole thing for 50 worms.
Worms. That would definitely work.
Man thought it was gold for a second, about cried.
I thought whenever he said worms, the word worms transferred to Drake's for me for some reason. I was like, bro, this better be the best roast I've ever had in my life.
All right. You sip on your honey brew mead as you eat your roast and proceed on with your night. So you're staying here. The rest of the group has tried to make it back.
I understand how that would be so successful.
And then eventually Kilroy. So you're sitting here reading with Vythe as you hear as Togric kind of slips down the steps, as you just hear laughing as you sense Bella approaching. Not
Holy
Bella, you
shit.
sense Togric approaching as you kind of just hear him laugh.
Holy shit, did somebody fall down the stairs?
Only all of them.
As I open the door.
So it's only Togric here as you kind of sit here. He's sitting on his back at the bottom of the stairs, his feet on the bottom stair as he's just kind of staring up at the upper deck.
Why is the last stairs so tall?
Hey, Vythe, a little help here as I bend down
What's
to start
going on?
to drag
Oh,
him.
God damn it.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Hi, Vythe. How you doing?
As you try to pull yourself up, he's like, I'm fine, as he slips back down.
I can't pick him up.
It's alright, just grab the other arm. As he grabs the one arm, really doing most of the work as you guys lift him up and pull him in his room.
I'm gonna miss you, you big ugly bastard.
I'm not going anywhere yet, as he just kind of throws you face down on your bed.
Make sure to turn him on his side.
I'm not gonna puke. I can handle it.
He looks at him and he looks at you, walking out of the room. It's funnier this way.
It was only like 7 dragon punch. And whatever Torvin put in my drink. Did you know, Vice, I have something important to tell you.
What do you have to tell me, Target?
Did you know that Torvin's a fairy?
What?
I
What do
don't
you
know.
mean?
As Gerard, Torvin, and Bella come walking down the stairs.
Hey, Torvin, I heard you're a furry.
I'm not a fairy. I just laced his drink. He needed to relax a bit.
It's fairy or furry?
No, I'm pretty positive he's fairy.
I'm not a fairy.
Exactly what a fairy would say.
You know, Torvin, Gerard's got a point. That is something a fairy would say.
Do fairies
He's
grant
just-
wishes?
Fuck all you guys. Can't even have one nice night. One fun night. Also, now I'm a fairy. This is just storms into his room and shuts
That's
the
what
door.
you get for trying to have your fun.
Aleister, at this point, you walk downstairs. All you hear is Torvin's a fairy.
Did you say Aleister?
Oh no, you're sleeping in the room. Never mind. Take it back.
Let's say.
So, Gerard, you're standing out here with Kilroy, Vythe having walked back into Kilroy's room to read, as Torvin slammed himself shut in Aleister in his room.
I'm definitely going to bed.
All right.
I set myself up to watch him again.
Okay. So, Gerard, let's see. Give me a fortitude save. We'll have it just be a straight save with your drinking. Actually, no. Let's make it a will save. I take it back. Okay.
Why are you
so
saying a will save like it's
I
any
gotta-
different on a paladin?
I got a question because I have a like class feature that's called Aura of
Just
Devotion,
we're getting
and he's
reverb from someone.
He's
All
immune
right,
to
go ahead
Gerard
and try
need-
now. There we go.
or I'm immune to mind effects, and he gets advantage on mind effects. Sorry.
From when he's within a certain range of you?
Yep.
All right. Well, he doesn't need the advantage, but
Okay.
otherwise I would give it to him. As Gerard, for you, the night passes uneventfully with no dreams. As you are just dead to the world, whatever's been trying to contact you can't break through your drunken haze. As all of you sleep through the night, as the day passes and we awaken on the 14th of Leaffall. Aleister, you'll awaken first as the sun peers through the window of your room, waking you early as you realize that you have less than an hour to get back to the ship before it leaves you.
Alright, so wake up. Put on
Okay.
my obviously. I walk downstairs. Is it the same bartender or is it a different one that
At this point in the morning, it is a younger one. He looks similar. You can tell he's probably related to the older one from last night. But this one's young, maybe in his mid-20s.
Okay.
Very broad chest. Cuts a pretty nice figure.
thick boy?
Yeah.
Obviously to talk to him, be like, hey, good morning.
Morning. Some breakfast for you.
Of course. What do we
Not a-
got for breakfast today?
Sausage and eggs.
Double sausage. Load me up with
Not
that
a
sausage.
problem. Milk, water, ale.
What was that honey drink?
The honey brew. You want a honey brew? I'll bring you a honey brew.
Yes.
As he comes to the back, maybe as you sit down at your table, the only person up this early, about 5 minutes passes before he comes out with a steaming plate of eggs and sausage with the fresh honey brew next to you. That'll just be, let's say, for you, 15.
I'll give him 17 with a tip.
Thank you. If you need anything else, let me know.
Will do.
As you break into these like perfectly cooked scrambled eggs.
So yeah, I'm just gonna take my time, really enjoy the sausage, the eggs. Get my morning stretch on, drink my good drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, big question for you. Are you actually heading back to the ship, or are you just leaving?
I'll head back to the ship. I'm not going to get on the ship.
All right. So, the rest of you guys begin to awaken, not Tagric, through the day. As Kilroy, you see Gerard begin to move. Gerard, your head hurts, but it's not the worst hangover you ever had. It's got a bit of a headache, but otherwise you feel fine. But you do notice that you had no dreams last night.
Good morning. Nothing really happened last night. On my end, anyway.
Yeah, I know. I have a little bit of a headache, but it's pretty great.
Well, now that you're up, I'm gonna go to bed.
All right.
All right.
Kilroy lays down. As you walk out, you hear Tagric and Torvin both snoring profusely from both of their rooms. There's loud dwarven snoring. Almost in unison.
Looks like my god did help me.
If I could, I would awaken at this very moment at the sound of shit talk. But I'm deaf right now, so it's fine.
I don't know. I drank 2 dwarves under a table. I feel pretty accomplished.
As you walk up to the upper floor, the top deck, to try to kind of get some air, stretch, and as you look around the ship, you'll see Aleister just kind of standing at the base of the ramp looking up at you, arms crossed.
Well, hello. How are you this morning?
Actually, pretty fantastic.
You know what? I'm glad to hear that, Gerard. I'm super happy for you.
Thank
I
you.
just want to let you know, you are my favorite paladin that
How
I
many
know.
paladins do you know?
Does not matter the number. Just know you're my favorite. Technically, I know all of your little get-together fun crew that's up in the mountains.
Okay, all right. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
me.
Anyways,
Lenora? Even more than Lenora? You like me more than Lenora?
fight with them. But, give me like 2 days with her, and that might change. But
I feel like that's hard to believe. It's hard to believe you like me more than you like the girl.
well, I mean, did I do anything with the girl? Did I fight with the girl? Did I spend the night with the girl? Did I do anything with the female? No.
I don't know.
I can tell you right now that that was a hard no. You watched me with Lenora. She was not liking Aleister.
I mean, it was a better reaction than the vampire lady, I guess.
Also, my favorite band.
As one of the crew on the top deck looks up, vampires!
Yeah, that's not something we gave him shit for in a while. We should have picked that back up. Wait a second. Good call.
No, not here. No vampires here. Long time ago.
As he goes back to scrubbing the
Vampires.
deck.
We've had some running with some vampires. They're kind of trying to follow us around. She's trying to get her revenge on us.
I mean, that's not incorrect.
I mean, I'm going to say it loud enough so the crew member hears.
Wait, you have vampires as the first mate knocks. So that's enough talking. Back to work.
Wait,
As
you
the
don't hear
captain
about the vampires hunting us down right now?
The captain walks out of her cabin. What's this I hear about vampires hunting you guys down?
No.
That wasn't told to me when you boarded my ship.
No. He's partially correct. It's not vampires. There's no S. It's just one. Just one vampire.
Also a super vampire that was created by 2 extremely strong men that's hunting us down ever since Gerard unlocked her out of her mirror cage. Isn't that right, Gerard?
No, I don't believe that's how it
For
was.
clarification, I think she's only hunting 2 of us. If that helps.
But you said there are vampires on your tail.
Yeah.
Oh, vampire.
Yes, vampire, and not on our tail. She's up in the mountains.
So when we ask you if you're in any trouble, that's something that you should tell us before we decide to take on that risk on our boat.
What do you mean in trouble? There's no trouble. I mean, no, there's no trouble.
Well, besides the vampires, the assassins, the occasional demons that we have to fight.
I want you to roll me persuasion, Aleister.
Bro, this is all truth.
I know, take advantage. Even though you're supposed to have disadvantage because exhaustion.
I've been rested for over 72 hours. I shouldn't have that anymore.
Oh, you are right. That is correct. So just take your advantage.
Hang on, my powder's freaking out right now. Give me like 2 seconds. Alright, so 22 and 11.
Alright, so with your 22, the captain looks back and forth for a minute, walks up to you, Gerard, hands you the 10 silver the 10 drakes that Torvin paid to get you on the boat. That's half of the price. It says that you guys are going to have to find another craft the rest of the way.
You might want to go tell Torvin and Togric that, not me.
Gorson. As he walks downstairs. So, as Togric, you are sleeping, and Kilroy, you are sleeping, and Torvin is sleeping, and Vythe is doing what Vythe does, you just all wake up to bang, 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 bang.
Literally, I throw my hammer with such force it dents the wood. Better be
All
damn
right.
important.
Yep, you all have to get off the boat.
Did I sleep for 3 days? As I grab my hammer out of the door and open it.
I
Captain's
just
orders.
laid down.
The fuck did Aleister do now?
Something about vampires and assassins chasing you. I don't know. Wasn't disclosed when you got on the boat. Your fare's been paid back.
Actually, the vampire's only chasing Aleister.
It's actually false kill, but
I'm gonna
Captain
talk
said
to
what the captain said.
Give me a second.
I'm going to ask all of you to pack your things and leave the boat before we push off for Emberfall.
And I'm gonna go up top here. Vythe, just give me a second.
Kilroy, are you going to accompany Togric?
Yeah.
All right. As all of you guys walk back up, Gerard, what were you doing when Gorson went down?
Nothing, I just stayed on the top deck of the boat and just waited.
Okay. As Gorson walks back up, followed by Togric and Kilroy, Torvin quickly follows behind, just indignant still in his clothes from last night.
Hey, Captain,
Captain-
care to run this by me?
Yes, your friend over here is is regaling my crew with tales of how vampires and assassins are chasing you across the water. As she turns to Torvin, that's certainly not anything that you told us before you boarded my ship. I need to know the level of risk I'm taking on, yes, I can compare it to the price that you'll need to pay before you board my ship. I wasn't told. You'll need to leave and find other transportation the rest of the way to Emberfall.
So, I understand and everything, but typically we would leave a trace, right? Smell, something like that. But hey, if you want to handle vampires and, assassins looking for us all on your lonesome without some extra arms by your side, that's perfectly fine by me.
That's fine. When you're off my boat, they won't be looking for us anymore. And as she looks around at the crew, which has begun to whisper at each other and look at you guys with suspicion, as she kind of looks around, plus, got to maintain morale.
It's a morale problem. Right. Good luck with,
I mean, I
whatever
saw
comes
them
knocking.
walk in, right?
What'd you say?
I saw them walk into the captain's quarters, right?
Well, no, you guys are on the top deck now talking in open air because all of the crew's talking about it now since Aleister brought it up.
Oh, as I talk really loudly, you see my intelligence check there. I was like, I guess we all just forgot that vampires can sure move over running water.
Oh, give me a persuasion.
And I know plenty of aquatic assassins. As I roll my eyes, try to give you that advantage.
You may take advantage from Tyrik's assistance.
You know, how many times have we been jumped by demons on a boat?
I think this would be the first, actually, Kilroy.
That is true. As the people the crew begins to talk to each other, vampires can't walk over running water. Yeah, how are they going to get on the boat? As one of them goes, what if they're already on the boat? Oh, what if there's vampires here? We wouldn't even know.
If you think about it, demon incursions 100% of the time so far have happened in cities, and we're currently docked at one, aren't we? I'd say the risk is higher doing that than keeping us on board.
Look, okay. It's just, with all due respect, it's not worth the hassle anymore. I've got to get a move on, and I don't have time to figure this out. I'm supposed to leave with the dawn.
Okay. Good luck with the waterborne assassins and aerial demons. And I guess a vampire. Hopefully you don't have any mirrors lying around. Ridiculous. As I step down.
Well, Torvin's like, well, I guess I'm going to go grab my shit and grab Vythe. I guess he walks back down below decks.
Guess I'm grabbing Bella.
Didn't know sailors these days were such cowards. You'd never would have made it across the Starfall Sea. So, it's fine.
The crew kind of looks at you with suspicion, but the captain's just kind of nonchalant as you guys walk back down as the first mate gets them back to work.
Thanks a lot, Aleister. Appreciate it.
Whenever
he's
I
not even
come
on the
back
boat.
No, I know. He's on the dock. Yeah, he's on the dock, but I figured with him being on the dock and now our situation has changed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Aleister.
Whenever I come back up to the top, I look out at the crew. I'm like, you know, if your captain is this worried about all of that, you guys wouldn't make it 10 seconds on the open sea.
As I begin to unload and walk off of the ship, and as I walk past Aleister on the dock, I'm like, I don't know why you guys are blaming the captain and the crewmates, as I stiff arm Aleister right into the water.
Okay, give me a strength check. Aleister, actually, give me a grapple check. Aleister, you can either resist with your grapple or you can resist with your athletics.
Ooh. You said grapple and or athletics, you say?
Grapple or athletics, not and.
Oh, good luck.
Jesus Christ.
Good luck.
You gotta beat a 30.
Go in the water.
Right. Yeah, as Gerard just stiff arms you as you just fall into the water.
I don't actually know if he can swim.
Aleister, can you swim?
Technically, yeah.
Not well.
I mean, it's up to you. Can Aleister swim?
He can swim, he's just scared of what he's swimming in.
Yeah, it's the fact that I'm just definitely grabbing hold of the dock, since it's obviously a dock. I'm grabbing on the pole.
Give me a reflex save to see if you grab the dock before you go all the way in.
Oh, I mean, I'm grabbing the dock if I follow you, okay?
Alright, so as you fall into the water, just like from your shoulders down is in the water, as you grab the dock. You're just hanging on as you kind of pull yourself back up, once again soaked, as the captain raises the bridge as everybody leaves the boat.
Besides, I'm sure this delay is going to be real conductive to your legal trouble back home, Aleister.
Honestly, I completely forgot about that, but oh well.
Yeah.
Hey, Alice, out of all the Talaxi that I know, you're my favorite.
Wow, my least favorite.
Well, it's not about the number.
It's about the quality of the character, right?
Well, you know, we want to talk about quality character. My job's done. Let's go get horses.
Ha ha ha, as I go to the next boat on the dock.
So, Togric walks over to the next boat on the dock. Torvin's like, oh, I mean, we did get our money back. I mean, we could get horses or we could grab another boat.
I look at
As
Aleister.
your previous boat pushes off.
I look at Aleister. I'm like, you gonna stop us from getting another boat?
I mean, I'm not going to stop you at all, but, I mean, have fun.
Estargik, you hear that as you're walking away.
I kind of look over at Vythe here. Is there any worry on his face or anything?
No,
With
he
the
seems fine.
Increased journey. I'm not sorry about tying you to the mast. Come on, let's get horses.
At
I'm
this
not going to
point,
have
I'd do
every
it
attempt
again.
I make sabotaged. Besides, I'm not paying an arm and a leg to take a boat for 3 days.
Ah, that means I'm gonna have to find a pony. Those chap my ass.
Yeah, well. Blame Aleister.
You know what else chap people's ass? Getting tied to a mast.
Aleister, we could get a different boat though. It's a noob ship. It's fine.
Wife, I really wish that I could, but I think my crippling fear of water and then my just traumatic experience being tied to a mast, I don't think I could do it. So,
Oh my God, let's go get horses. Torvin says.
Traumatic experience. I drank in the same bar I almost died in. As I just kind of throw my hands up and move towards the stables.
You guys move towards the stables at near the edge of town, quickly procuring horses. The rate will cost you 5 worms per day.
Don't worry, he's paying as I gesture to Aleister.
Trust me, I have my inheritance, I can do it.
You'll pay them at, generally what they do is when you arrive at Emberfall, you'll pay them at the stables in the harbor district. And then they just exchange horses like that.
That's a real honor system right there.
I mean, they take your name down, and if you don't do it, they'll send the guard after you.
Ah, fair.
Be a horse thief.
Hey, I mean...
Like, not a lot worse things that you can be more than a horse thief. Maybe a murderer?
Maybe. Thin line, though. Same punishment.
It's a gray area for this area.
Yeah, it's a pretty thin line. You know how long it takes to raise a horse versus a person? It's about the same amount of time. Right.
As you guys mount up and proceed northeast along the Giants Road towards the city of Emberfall. And while it would have only taken you 2 more days via river from Farrock to reach Emberfall, it easily will take 4 via the Giants Road.
I hope you
as
come
you
back
proceed
homeless.
northward. Actually, considering that it's 10:40, and we are going now via land, this is actually where I'm going to call it for today. So we will come back next Monday at 7:30 Central, continuing on from here with the fall of Illidion. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. Definitely an interesting session as we make our way back to Emberfall. Should be arriving, I think, early next session, so it should be pretty fun as we get back and see what's changed about the city since the last time they were there.
Big Brain, great job on getting us drugged. Well done. Well done. Big brain play, you could say.
I'm definitely excited for it. Don't forget to tune in on Wednesday, too. We're running Session 1 of our new campaign, GM'd by Gunfire 2430. Ruins of the Old World, which will take place in a new region of Eridar, the tropical region of Iskar. So pretty excited about that as well.
I believe the map is in the description below if you're going to check out what the playground's going to look like.
As well as all of the characters that are playing in that game. From this game, myself, I will be playing Marcus Avalon, and then Cheat Clapper, who plays Kilroy in this game, will be playing Pack on Wednesdays.
Pack the Goblin's going to be great. So, alright, I'll go ahead and move us over to QA, and we'll see if we get a couple of questions here in a few minutes, and then after that, we'll go ahead and end the stream. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll catch up with you guys after, okay? See you, Kilroy. See you, Gerard. See you, Aleister.
Adios.
Alright. so let's go ahead and see if we have any questions in the chat here. Nothing
Pretty
so-
interesting session. A lot of travel today, moving along, but a lot of fun. It was fun to see Aleister get tied to rope and how he interacted with that. That was pretty interesting.
Although the consequences weren't fantastic, but it's all right.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Thank you for the follow today. We picked up a follow from Risky Brewer and another gift subscription from Halo. Appreciate both you guys supporting the channel.
For sure. Yep, it is great to see, regardless of whether or not it's helpful to the party or not, it is great to see the channel points being put to good use. So appreciate the Hello Kitty and the It's a Trap today. It's pretty good. Let's see, we've got a few people in here. I'm really glad to see a few new faces. That's great to see, especially in a more roleplay heavy session. It's great to see that you guys are at least somewhat interested in the characters and the story at large. So I'm gonna go ahead and give us maybe another 2 minutes here, see if a question comes in. Can be about anything. The upcoming game, this one, a specific character. We'll be happy to take any questions.
If you guys don't have any question, make sure you stick till the end of the stream where we're going to do another raid just like we did last week. If you're trying to get some easy channel points, it's a great way to get some.
Absolutely. Hey, we're only 48 away from our follower goal. That's great. I mean, granted, we have to get quite a few in 5 days, but still really great to see.
Fair enough.
Right. So I'm not seeing any questions coming in here. I guess everybody's pretty well satisfied at the moment.
All right, so what I'm going to do then, if we're not getting any questions, I guess we'll go ahead and end the stream here.
Actually, one from James Earl. It's kind of a cheating question, but if you use the Barbarian helmet, how are you going to hear? That's the thing is, if you redeem the channel points, it doesn't matter if the DM can hear. You redeem the channel points.
I'll figure it out. I'll extend my headset around the Barbarian helmet. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and end for the time being. Go ahead and start that raid, Zoltar, and stick around, get a few extra dragons. We'll use them for the next It's a Trap, because that was a lot of fun.
All right, guys, thank you for sticking around. I definitely love having you here. And we'll see you on Wednesday at 8:30 for the Ruins of the Old World.
See you for now.